Just parallel, compelled to spell 100,000 rhymes, intertwined with entities everywhere and all in kind, weathering snare particulates that splinter off into the air, into the sky. Hi, my name is Beatrice and I am high. They call me Trixie Goldie Witch online and in line for the signing. Rhyming is a thing I do. I'm a YouTube screamer too, redeemer of the stolen youth, leading people like you into the food. No voter, headshot, no joker, dead cops, no broker, dreadlocks, no poker face.
I'm another race, an alien displaced from somewhere else, another place so far away, but not Australian or Welsh. My brother Shane, that's his real name, knows how to game and to excel. He produced half of Gay and Dead, Sarah Louise did half as well. St. Pierre's get down in Paris to the base swell. It'll be a cold day in hell before I face 1200K, that's a baseline take. Delve into my lore like it's Elden Ring, bore into my brain with a drill bit ring. If you liked it, then you should have thought about it before he put a ring on it. No fling, thingy do bingy bongy upon the beat do bongy, real spotty, zip shotty, flip trotty, rich, putting the stick back in the box. Toxic music, influence toxic, Britney Spears, queer, psychotic, fearless, psychic, powerless. Another chick's rack, giving hick rap, bringing hick back. Candy flip fresh, gish magician, no pumpkin smash. The bumpkin raps, the function slaps, the gumption tracks, debunk the whack, the punk is back. Popularly played in your room like PlayStation, probably delayed in the gloom from creation, properly portrayed by a gloom incarnation, positively baked off the blooms in the basement, private open cases of moonshine I drink it, private open flames under moonlight I'm baking, private open flames gonna shoot like an aces, private open range thunder groove on the basement. Ask your mama if she fuck with it. Grab a partner when the touches it. Take a puff, no titty. Ain't a rush, just trip. No rat, no nut, no drizzy, just missy in a blunt. I speak for a living, stunt for a hobby. Got some awesome memories in some hotel lobbies. Got some awful memories in some hotel parking. Got a lot of memories, yeah, I couldn't walk. Copped a lot of pretty beef, I still steal from Walmart. Dropped a lot of tracks for free, no appeal to Walter. Dropped a lot of racks on weed, really got for restart. Probably never have money on weed. Dropped a lot of racks on weed, really got for restart. Probably never have money, I really went for retard. Had to redo that last bar. Hey. See, I'm neurodivergent, so I'm allowed to say that. Like, I get to say faggot because I'm LGBT and but if you're not a retarded faggot, I really don't want to hear those words out of your mouth, alright? Those are our words, okay? Honey K, honey K. Honey K, honey K. Hey, listen, look, hey. Hey!
Eat metal shit, blood that quick like a soldier, sucking on a big fat dick in a foxhole, cop hole, right with the bombs drop, whiskey tango, foxtrot, cock slime. JC, yeah, let's go, yeah. Sit down, see, what I'm sick of is the prissy, particular, pretentious, entitled, demanding, that's never reconciled. Expanding the reticular, the picture's pretty wild. Perspective perpendicular, vindictive, vicious, foul. I'm wild across America, I don't care who was in France. I gambled once in Canada, but wasn't much a fan. Spent one day in Atlanta, but I don't speak Korean. Legalize weed and you'll find me in Philippines, Japan, and Brazil. Let's chill. Don't hold your inner daughter's body underwater, let her breathe. Clean your teeth, definitely don't be like me. Do better, rate green, keep cheddar, don't spend, just weather this era. Expand after winter's end. No more play pretend time. End zone rhymes, this is scored again time. Yeah. No more play pretend time.
You hear me now?
But it would probably turn me on, so probably gonna wanna stick to guns. For anyone that think I make a target in my target shorts and hand me downs, I'm chilling just around Northside, Norfolk, Virginia. Smoking a dirt weed blunt in my mama garage. It's too late to attempt to maintain a mirage. Had a chance to be boss, traded it for Cassage and a deed of a bra.
Unchecking.
Now I'm a broke bitch.
And I came back and it was on again.
That's the whole sitch.
Why is this even a
Now
thing?
you know this. Tracy Goldie Witch. That's me.
Desktop audio is way louder.
Tracy Goldie Witch.
That's actually normal.
It is what it is.
Shit. How do I? Where is it? Right here.
Still talking.
Yeah, no, it's it's normal for it to be much louder than me. I just usually turn it down when I play it. Okay. Well, y'all, this gave us time for everyone to show up, at least. How did I fix it? Was just like that fucking. For some reason, this kept being checked. Like, this kept being muted. Like, I had unmuted it, clicked off, and then came back, and it was remuted, and I unmuted it again, and it worked. It may be that I had to have this actually selected as like the one. I don't know why any of this would be different. I do the same shit every single time, and for some reason the computer changes things. So search me. Good Lord. That was like 20 minutes. Y'all, all right. Serious talk time. Now that you can actually hear me. First of all, go buy my magazine. It's over on Itch.io. Itch. Come on. Not Itchy Throat. Oh, I'm on the wrong. It's because I'm on Google Chrome when I do these streams. You see,
your son wanted to get his nails
doesn't
painted.
have my shit figured out. All right, here's my JPEG magazine. This is 30 pages of original writing and shit, and it's fun and good, and you should buy it because it's only $3. You link the new Kendrick in the Discord. We can't listen to that on stream; it'll get me taken down. I'll wait till afterwards. Kendrick always got to be dropping when I'm in the middle of a live stream. Anyway, I have more important things to talk about. Like, is this stream cursed? Let's talk about that. Is this stream maybe possibly real world cursed? And I don't just mean that it's cursed for you and I. I mean like serious business, scary murder curse. I'm sure some of y'all already know where I'm going with this. But some of you will have no idea where I'm going with this. So, We kind of touched on this just a little bit in a previous stream, but I hadn't really looked into like I hadn't looked into it that hard. That Atsuko Tanaka, who played Kirie Ushiromiya in this game, she was also the voice of Motoko Kusanagi. She died at age 61 just like 3 weeks ago. And I hadn't even really taken time to like process that. By the time yesterday, Emi Shinohara, who plays Natsuhi, died. Also at age 61. Also of a disease. Now, I think it's a little bit unusual that the same month I decided to finally play the 17-year-old game I took my name from. Two of the voices I've been voicing over have died in the span of 3 weeks from one another at age 61, both times. I don't know, it's surreal. I'm not saying that I had anything to do with this, but I am saying that if a third person dies, I might have to stop doing this. If there is a third death, I might be like, oh, maybe it's time to stop. Time will do that, but two 61-year-olds from who are both moms in Umineko dying like right at the same time. I'm just saying, if there's a third death, I might have to stop. But if there is a fourth death, I will then resume and try to beat it as quickly as possible, because then I'll assume it's like a timing thing. Like I have to beat the game within a certain amount of time or everybody's going to die. But if there's a third death and I stop playing and there are no more deaths, then we'll let it rest there. Anyway, Ellen, I did intend to read the summary of the chapter. I just didn't want to be on that screen because it'll keep playing the opening theme over and over again. I would have more to say about each of those actresses other than obviously, you know, it's a deep shame to lose legendary talents who should by all rights still have tons of steam left in them, you know, like people who had a lot of potentially a lot of life left. Voice acting is not something you have to quit doing when you get old, really. So you know, it's yeah, it sucks. Anyway, I'll probably do more research into them at some point and talk about them when I start up my show about dead people. Episode 2, Turn of the Golden Witch. Good morning. The Golden Witch has been waiting impatiently for you. Please take your seat opposite her at the table. Have you rested well and deliberated over how you will play? The witch has high expectations of you and is determined to come at you right from the opening. I, too, am looking forward to observing your moves. She did come at us right at the opening. The difficulty level is first rate. The witch plans to make you surrender in an instant. Okay. So this is deliberately a difficult chapter. That's what I'm getting out of that. Maybe subconsciously you want to stop. Only if it keeps killing people, Asepi. I wouldn't, I mean, obviously, when the first one happened, I was just like, well, that's really unfortunate. What a strange coincidence that, like, she died while I'm actually playing the game. And then a second, you know, second actress dying was like, wait a minute. Hold on. You know, this is a pattern emerging here. Quickly at that. Like 3 weeks. And, like, I don't know. When it comes to voice actresses, obviously lots of them are in a lot of the same things because they work with the same agencies. And they like often have like really big catalogs, so they've just been in tons of stuff. But that almost makes it even weirder that it's two people who would have been like closer together, both dying so young under like. It's not as though they weren't both facing the conditions that they had before I started playing this game. So, I'm not even necessarily saying that it's me streaming that is causing this. It could be just the game's existence in itself is cursed. I hope that me playing this game breaks the curse. Like, hopefully nobody else dies, and I play through the rest of the game, and whatever the curse is, it's just broken, and everybody gets to move on happily. Anyway. Let's play this cursed ass fucking video game. Book thing. Video book. That was how I felt when I found out that Nazi's voice actress died. Which now I have two newly, that's a weird word to use for it. Fresh corpses to pillage. I'm sitting on it feels weird is what I'm trying to say. Me literally doing like my corny voice over the voice of two women who just died. So that's going to feel weird. I'm going to try to give the most respect I possibly can to their performances. I am not a professional voice actor. So, I'll do my best. What do you mean separate rooms? Then, Shannon, you and George Nissan stayed in different rooms on purpose? Yes. Was it that strange a thing to do? Since Jessica's cheeks had been stuffed with chocolate-coated Chinsuko biscuit that Shannon had brought as a souvenir from Okinawa, it all flew out at Shannon when Jessica cried out, "Ew." Shannon? Why did you even go on a trip up to Okinawa then? And even alone with George Nissan? Sandals indoors. That's because, since there's a very big aquarium in Okinawa, I was invited to go, and I like fish and stuff. No, I mean, this is a young couple going on an overnight trip, right? And you're saying there weren't even any hugs and kisses? To say nothing of the fact that the guy and girl were staying in different rooms. As for kisses, no comment. But we did hug, though. George-san's chest was warm. That's not the point. Ah, jeez. Why do couples like this exist? Ah, jeez. It's so damn irritating. From Shannon's perspective, a lot of things had happened, and it seemed to have been a very happy trip, but it looked like the missed opportunity had left Jessica feeling greatly unfulfilled. I'm trying to think about my cousin fucking you. Why aren't you giving me the satisfaction? For a while, Jessica chewed on her souvenir, writhing on her bed as she complained about their romance. Shannon and George had chosen to go to Okinawa because there was a huge aquarium there. That was because their first meeting had revolved around an aquarium. Since they had started at an aquarium, having their first overnight trip also be to an aquarium must have held some commemorative value. This was your special commemorative trip, your turning point, your first overnight trip. Shouldn't there have been all kinds of progress? And yet, separate rooms for the guy and girl, a couple taking 2 single rooms. Ah, jeez, really, what's wrong with you? But we're both single. George-san says that respecting boundaries is good manners between men and women. For hell's sake, this overnight trip was so you could overcome that, wasn't it? You can have a second fucking overnight trip. You don't gotta fuck on the first overnight trip. Like, it doesn't have to be a fuck memory. Like, for hell's sake, this overnight trip was so you could overcome. Oh, I didn't read that. You're not at the stage of mere hugs and kisses anymore. I don't know what you mean by that, but maybe this is because, okay, I'm putting on my psychology cap a little bit here, all right? Jessica's a late birth. Like, her mom was, like, old already.
because they'd been trying for all that time and they couldn't produce an heir, and then like by the grace of the witch did pop out a golden child at some point. But you know, maybe she's like afraid that like, you know, you gotta start fucking now just to, you gotta make sure you can have a baby so you don't end up being like an old sad mom like my mom, you know, like you gotta churn them little fucking things out.
Lady, I don't know what you mean by that, but George-sama was a real gentleman with me until the end. That is, I mean, I also wondered if those things would happen, you know? But we may be going out, but I mean, it's not as if we're married or anything. The kind of things you seem to be expecting, milady. I mean, we must do so only after we properly make a vow in front of God. And, we mustn't.
No tongue till marriage. Shannon's face was bright red. She was restlessly fidgeting, making a circle with both hands, then a chain link, continually intertwining, separating and making heart shapes with them. Apparently the dramatic progress Jessica had looked forward to hadn't happened, but it seemed that it had been a very important experience for Shannon in her own way. So in the end, no matter how much Jessica envied Shannon or made fun of her, she really... Envy is an interesting word in this context. It didn't change the fact that Shannon had a huge lead on her.
Oh, I want a boyfriend too! I can't believe you beat me to it.
Well, it's because of you. It's this is the you're exhibiting the reasons that that Shannon has a boyfriend first.
We promised to get boyfriends at the same time, but you snuck ahead and beat me. Ah! Lady, you are a wonderful person, so I'm sure you'll find someone even more wonderful than I did before long.
I mean, I'm just with George. You'll find him something. Surely you'll find something better.
Don't try to console me. Shannon, you traitor, get out of here. You suck.
Uh-oh, she asthma attacked herself. Amy losing to furniture. It was pretty fucking funny. Jessica threw several cushions at her, but midway she had an asthma attack and started to cough pretty badly. Shannon hurriedly ran over to her and took a look on top of the nearby side table. An adorable basket was placed there, and inside of it was Jessica's inhaler. Shannon picked it up and handed it over to Jessica. Jessica's asthma attacks always came suddenly. Because of this, she had to carry this medicine around with her at all times. There was nothing sudden about that. Bitch was acting up. She was going wild. She breathed in the medicine, and after some time spent holding back her coughing, her asthma finally settled down. Shannon thought this a good chance to leave, bowed courteously, and made to exit the room. As she did, one more small cushion came flying and hit Shannon on the head. She looked around and saw that Jessica was on the verge of crying, half of her face buried in her last and favorite cushion. That face was red and meek.
The lady? Shannon. Be honest with me. Is my hairdo and stuff strange?
It is a little... You do have the worst hair in the game, unfortunately, which is hard to do with a ponytail, because I'm big into ponytails, but I think it's something about the sideburn bangs. Like, the bangs are fine, but the sideburn bangs with the bangs and the ponytail is like a line too far. I think she could probably just cut the sideburn bangs and she'd be fine. Anyway.
What are you saying? I think that your hair is very beautiful. Then are my eyes strange, or maybe my nose? Or is it the way I talk after all? Is that why I can't get a boyfriend? Of course not. Milady, you are wonderful enough as you are, and I think that your charm will keep on increasing more and more. But it's only me who can't get a boyfriend. Saku and Hina managed to find one, but I can't. I'm the only one. Is it because I don't have any charm after all?
That is a little. See, the hair, not that big a deal. The charm, that might have something to do with it.
You know, everyone's going to be bringing their boyfriend along to the cultural festival. I was so sure I'd have a boyfriend by then. I've been grandstanding about it.
Yeah, you see,
But I can't get a boyfriend to save my life.
stop grandstanding about it.
I'm the only one. The only one.
Before she realized that Jessica was shedding huge tears. Jessica hadn't really planned on crying, and of course she felt like supporting Shannon's progress and love as a friend. However, as she had made fun of Shannon, her true feelings had suddenly gotten mixed in, and the tears had just poured out on their own. Shannon understood Jessica's innocent and easily injured heart. Jessica's usual rough style of speech was all just an attempt to protect her own easily injured heart. Well, I understand that. As a daughter and successor to the Ushiromiya family, and as a girl isolated on Rokkenjima, the only person she could expose her true feelings to was Shannon. Shannon understood that, so she strongly regretted feeling a little too self-satisfied.
Sorry. Crying like this, I'm weird. Sorry. You are a wonderful person, milady. There's no way that a nice man won't appear for you. Shannon, it's about time for you, right? If you don't go soon, Genji-san and Mom are gonna yell at you. I'm totally fine, so get going. Sorry for crying like this. I'm such a moron.
I'm such a dojiko. Jessica faced away as if to show that she wasn't looking for attention, and waved her hand as though to drive Shannon away. Shannon took that as a sign that she didn't want to be badgered anymore, bowed her head, and left the room. Is she being badgered? I don't know about that. When her footsteps disappeared into the distance, Jessica lay down on her bed, still hugging the cushion. Her expression was still a little meek with tears in her eyes, but for the first time in a long time, she had a very, very quiet and honest conversation with her heart.
I also want to fall in love.
As Shannon watered the flower beds in the garden in high spirits, she sensed someone's presence. She turned around, thinking that if one of the family had come to visit, she must greet them, and what she saw was that witch. Oh.
But Beatrice-sama.
It's been quite some time. How are you? Has your relationship with your special person progressed since last time? As Beatrice sat on the rose arch, she happily blew on her pipe. Hell yeah. Hold on. Where's my fucking pipe? I want to happily blow on my pipe. I thought I had a vape around me somewhere. Yeah, there we go. There we go. There's a happy blow on your pipe. Sitting in a place like that would crush the roses, and it might have been dangerous if you fell off the arch, but after all, this was a witch. That was surely an unnecessary concern.
Yes. Thanks to you, it's going smoothly.
Naturally, my magic is instantaneous. You may even be feeling as if your meeting was a predetermined fate. If that isn't correct, don't think for a moment this has anything to do with fate. Yeah, fuck fate, fuck stay night, fuck unlimited blade works, fuck heaven's feel, fuck I could do that all day.
I understand that.
The witch was calling attention to something. Two things, actually. That originally her relationship with George had been completely impossible, and that her magic power was so great it could manipulate that fate. Shannon had become swept up in these sweet days and had started to fall under the illusion that all fate was revolving around her. But the witch's words made her remember. Her relationship with George had originally been impossible. No, might also be impossible in the future as well. Sorry. It's just like a doctor. Even though you rely on them when you worry about your health, after you're healed, you forget to even thank them. Witches have never known thanks, so I couldn't help acting a little rudely. Forgive me.
I have never forgotten my feelings of gratitude. I was able to achieve happiness thanks to your power, Beatrice-sama.
Yeah, that better be all y'all.
And without that power, George-sama and I would have had no fate together. I have never forgotten that.
Sorry. This was not my intent. I didn't come here to bully you. Bully. Talking rudely is just my personality. Do forgive me. More importantly, I heard it through the grapevine. You two went on a little private trip. I'm sure it was quite fun.
Yes, it was very, fun.
Shannon's face suddenly grew bright. The witch laughed lightly as though that transformation was worth money. Already the person of your thoughts is no longer an object of one-sided love. You are a pair of lovers now. To a pair filled with love that alone is all they need in the world. A wonderful ideal world, so to speak. Even witches would be jealous. Beatrice laughed pleasantly. That smile was without a trace of malice, making her look as though she blessed the lovers' secret meeting from the bottom of her heart. After that day, Beatrice had shown herself before Shannon every once in a while. Even now, Shannon still thought of her as a creepy being. However, she was also hugely indebted to this person for bestowing the magic that had given her the relationship she had with George. So Shannon was trying with all her might not to be surprised or scared.
Oh, yes. Beatrice-sama, I bought some confectionery as a souvenir from our trip. Would you, like some?
Oh? A souvenir for a witch? It seemed that even the witch who boasted of living for 1,000 years hadn't been able to predict that she would receive a souvenir from a pair of sweet lovers. When she saw that surprised expression, Shannon thought of the witch as a friend for the first time. That's probably a dangerous type of a friend to have. Oriental cookies made from wheat flour and lard. To wrap that in chocolate in the Western fashion is truly a blending of Japanese and Western style. The Silk Road of confectionery. Oh my god. She really is exactly like me. I never knew that she was the type of person to start writing analytical poetry about the food she eats, comparing it to the fucking Silk Road. I thought I had some tormented metaphors. Holy shit. Oh, my mic's doing the static shit again you're talking about? Well, Ellen, I've only made $100 off my magazine so far, so nowhere near fucking buying a new microphone level. There's a lot of things in between me and being able to buy a new microphone, but if it really is to my liking, then that might be what has to happen at some point. Anyway. What? What's so funny?
Nothing. My apologies.
This mysterious witch, who surely held a terrifying power, was chomping down on the treats one after another, making a sound like a squirrel stuffing walnuts into its mouth. Crumb, 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 crumb. After a while, Shannon couldn't conceal her laughter. A fine treat. I should serve you some dolce vita from Nero one of these days. Like she hung out with Nero the Emperor at some point and got some. How old is she supposed to be again? Roses are the symbol of eternal love. I believe a rose dolce would be appropriate for you now. The witch was in a great mood, having enjoyed the modern treats to the full.
Here. I truly can't thank you enough. I believe you have done more than enough for me already, so I'm returning this.
The thing that Shannon had softly set on the table was a gold-colored butterfly brooch.
返さずとも
There's no need to return it.
それに
If you continue holding that, your relationship should remain firm in perpetuity.
出会いのきっかけは
I may have been given the chance to meet him through the power of magic, but I think that the effort will make that encounter.
二人で協力し合って続
But
け
I
てい
think
く
the
ものだ
effort
と
that
思
will
いま
make
す
that encounter eternal should come from the two of us cooperating together.
うん
Hmm.
愛もバラと同じ
So love too is like a
過ぎ
rose.
た施肥
Too
は
much fertilizer causes the roots to rot.
苦労せねば育
Some
める
flowers
花も
cannot
あ
be
る
raised without hard
なら
work.
ば
In that
好き
case,
にす
do
る
as you
がよ
wish.
身につけず
You may keep it in a
宝
box
石箱
rather
の
than
中
on
に
your
しまうも
person.
それは
That is my
そ
goodwill
なたに
given
送
to
ったわら
you.
はそれを返さ
It
れ
would
ては
not please me to have
わ
it
らはもう愉
returned.
快
My
申し訳
my
ございません
apologies.
そういう意味
That's
で言ったわ
not
け
what
じ
I.
ゃ気を害して
No
などおら
human.
ぬ
No harm has been done. No human has been done, I almost said.
そのブローチは
That brooch
す
is
でに
already
そなたのもの
yours.
わらわとの友
If you
情の
treasure that
証
as
に
proof of
せ
our
いぜい大
friendship,
事
that
に
would
してくれ
comfort
れ
me
ば
a little.
持ち続き
You may hold on
そ
to
の
it
ご利
and
益を
gain
得
its
るもよ
benefits.
宝石
You
箱
may
に
also
しま
keep
い
it
込
in a
むもよ
box.
望むなら
If you wish, you are
恋
even
路に
free to
悩
give
む
it
別
to
のもの
another
に
who is
譲ろ
worrying
う
about love.
ただ
But you should
大事
regard
に
it
し
as
てくれればよ
important. I get the feeling it's gonna find itself in a box. It's gonna find itself in the hands of another who's worrying about love. It's gonna find itself on a train in the rain and with Sam I Am eating green eggs and
さす
ham.
がに粗末にされ
It
ては
would certainly pain my heart.
心が
Pain
痛
my
む
heart. I keep adding letters in tonight. It would certainly pain my heart if you did not take care of it. According to Beatrice, she had appeared several times in the past in response to a person's summons so that she could give them an item imbued with some kind of magical power. However, most of them, after they used that power to resolve their worries, would quickly come to think of that power as creepy, and forgetting their feelings of thanks, they would throw away the items that had been given with disgust.
だから
Which is why I haven't
Boy.
often received thanks for
素
my
直に感謝
goodwill.
された試しは多く
I know all of this entirely too well.
いや
Ryukishi, we will always give thanks. Everybody, go send Ryukishi 07 some thanks right now. Go, send him an email? I don't know. Which is why I haven't often received thanks for my goodwill. Let's see, is this the first time? I actually receive thanks for my goodwill all of the time, so I'm not gonna act like I don't. I get people fucking randomly DM me like their whole life story every couple of days, so I'm good on the thanks. But go send Ryukishi 07 some alcohol or something. The witch laughed heartily, but it looked like a sad laugh to Shannon's eyes. She herself had been like that in the past. No, maybe she was still like that now. Beatrice was definitely a witch with a strange and terrifying power. Most likely no one would go along with her if they could help it. And even though on occasion they had relied on her strange power, it had undoubtedly resulted in fear more than gratitude. It must have deeply hurt the witch when that repeated over and over. Man, it just, I'm sorry, I got lost in thinking about how badly I want to cosplay this goddamn character. Because she already has my favorite hairstyle. Since I was a teenager, I have dreamed of having my hair done like that, with the princess braid. And the outfit is just so fucking swank. I have to cosplay this character. That'll probably be the only one I ever do from that point forward. Also, I want to carry around a fucking pipe, obviously. I didn't realize Ryukishi had a Twitter. I should go follow him on Twitter and thank him every day obsessively for the rest of his life. No. From the moment that she realized this, Shannon decided to stop being frightened of Beatrice. That had surely tormented her for over 1,000 years. Maybe she really liked the treats. Beatrice, who normally spoke abusively, praised the black tea that Shannon served her and looked to be in remarkably high spirits. On such terms, the witch and the servant grew animated, talking about the trip with George. Shannon didn't know much about Beatrice. First off, she was a ghost-like being who appeared in unexpected places at unexpected times. Also, you said I don't think he would understand me. All you have to say is, uh, arigato gozaimasu. Or even better, domo arigato gozaimasu. Ryukishi-sama. Umineko no naku koro ni wa sugoi desu. First off, she was a ghost-like being who appeared in unexpected places at unexpected times, and it seemed that not everyone could perceive that she was there. It seemed that each person had something called a wavelength, and that there was a great amount of individual variation in people's ability to perceive the witch. Only Shannon and Kanon could interact with her enough to exchange words like this. There were a few people who could sense her presence, but most people couldn't even feel that much. From what Beatrice said, Kraus and his wife in particular had zero magical talent, and no matter how much she followed them around, they would never notice her. Previously, when Shannon had messed up and Natsuhi had gotten really mad at her, Beatrice had started playing around, hitting Natsuhi on the head with her pipe. Indeed, Natsuhi seems completely oblivious, but Shannon, watching that, had burst out laughing without thinking and had gotten scolded even more.
Then, what about the master? I heard that he has been doing research in magic, so I'm sure he would be able to notice you, Beatrice-sama.
Kinzo is the same. There is no one with a more pitiful lack of magical talent. That makes sense. It's the blood. He has so little talent, he is worthy of sympathy. Huh? As soon as they started talking about Kinzo, it felt like the atmosphere around Beatrice changed. She had spoken about Kraus and the rest's lack of magic talent as though she looked down on them, but she spoke of Kinzo in a different way. Anyone connected to the Ushiromiya family would know about Kinzo's legend of the gold. According to the legend, Kinzo had summoned the witch Beatrice and had been conferred gold. In short, that implied she had some kind of relationship with Kinzo. So, you see, he attained that level despite not having a single scrap of talent. It was through frenzied, solitary study that he reached the tier of mage.
That's something really incredible, right?
She's so goddamn adorable. The witch, who usually looked down on people, was unexpectedly praising someone. While she lambasted Kinzo, calling him talentless, she praised his efforts.
And then the master summoned you with the power of magic.
Well, I only answered the summons on a whim. In this period where magic has long been denied, there I saw a being without a scrap of talent giving it his all. It was just my luck that I decided to come and laugh at him. The words "just my luck" showed that this had been a disaster for her. Shannon hesitated over whether it would be alright to encourage her to continue, but Beatrice continued on her own, ignoring Shannon. The format and rules were all there at least. He'd mixed up a few of the procedures, but, well, in deference to his enthusiasm, I generously responded to his contract. Oops. Shit, hold on. She gave him gold.
Then the master used that gold and succeeded in business and grew his wealth into what it is today.
His talent in magic was nothing, but it seems he had talent in business and gambling. Or was it because of his bravery and madness to stake everything on irrational bets? Madness sometimes brings about magic. Yes, if I look at it that way, maybe I can't really say that Kinzo had absolutely no magical talent. Shannon, she's such a Dark Souls character. Shannon felt like she was daydreaming, or maybe even an Elden Ring character. While everyone in the Ushiromiya family knew of the story that Kinzo had delved into sorcery, summoned a witch, and been given gold, in actuality it was all rambling that no one believed in. And now the witch herself was telling her that it was true. Shannon felt a little flustered at this insane secret that only she knew. Then Kinzo, who had obtained a vast fortune, satisfied his every dream that could be granted in the human world. I'm not going to say it. He built a private island. And finally, he sought the truth of the world and filled it with child slave labor.
The truth of the world?
世界を構
The
成する
single element that makes
一
up
な
the
る
world.
人の世で得られる
Kinzo,
全
who
てを
had
満たし
achieved
た金
everything
蔵
one could obtain in the human
人が
world,
求める
wanted back
最
the
後の
final
欲望とし
desire
て
humans seek. The single element. She felt like she had heard the witch say those words before. When Beatrice saw Shannon trying to remember what that was, she smiled awkwardly, waving her hand and saying there was no need to remember. I underestimated Kinzo a
少し
trifle.
まさかあれほ
I
どの
truly
力を見
hadn't
せる
thought
と
that
は
he
思
would
わなかった
display
の
such
にな
power. And
お
thanks
か
to
げで
that,
この
I'm
ざ
in
ま
this
だ
state.
茶飲み友
I've
達
been
もな
sewn
く
in place on this island for
この島に
several
もう何
decades
十
now
年も
without
縫い
even
留め
a
られ
friend
て
to
いる
drink tea with.
誰に話し
My
かけ
voice
ようとも
reaches none
声
I
は
call
届
out
か
to,
ず
and I cannot go
どこへ
anywhere.
なんとも退
Such
屈な
boring
数十年
decades.
だ
As she laughed in self-derision, she tapped her teacup with her finger. It made the clear sound of porcelain. Shannon did not know whether the word self-derision was really an accurate expression to describe the look on the witch's face. Shannon didn't understand everything, but she could more or less figure out the situation. And it was surely a topic that she should not press the witch on lightly unless the witch started talking about it herself. To sum up everything she had said until now, Beatrice, who had been summoned by Kinzo's magic, could not leave this island for some reason, and she had lost her power and her form, living her days in boredom. During that time, her words had reached Shannon, who never forgot to strongly respect the witch, and she had made Shannon help her to regain her power, even if only a little bit of it. As a result, she had become able to drink tea with Shannon like this. Sounds like it's all Shannon's fault. She believed in the witch a little too much.
Beatrice-sama, what in the world was that mirror you told me to break?
ああその話か
that topic. It seems that a lot of things happened on this island around this area, in the distant past. The islands around this area.
そのせいで良くない
Bad
もの
things
が
gathered
溜まり
due to that,
悪
attracting
い
bad
歪みを引き寄せ
distortions.
てそれを
It seems that a
旅の
traveling
東洋
Eastern
魔術
mage
師
or
か何か
someone
が
built a shrine
人
for the
工の
repose
社
of
を混入
souls
して
and
封
sealed
じ
them
込め
in
たら
there.
しい
Oh, did he build a shrine for the repose of souls and seal them in there? Hmm.
それ自体は
That in itself had
わらわとは
nothing to
ど
do
うで
with
もいい
me,
こ
but
となのだが
unfortunately, the foundation of
困
that
ったこと
magical
に
power was different.
わらわの魔力
It
に
used a
強い
strong
干渉を及
interference
ぼ
with
して
my
おっ
own
て
magic and was
非常
extremely
に迷惑
bothersome.
Is that how it was? I just assumed that it had been sealing you, Beatrice-sama.
わらわを対象にし
Yeah,
た
I
もの
was
では
not
ない
its
だが
target, but
人格のある
but it
鏡
was
だ
a
ったから
divine
結
mirror.
果として
As a result, my
わら
power
わの
was sealed
力を
away.
封じ込め料
If
理
I
に
were to
例え
use
るなら
food
こ
as
う
an
か
example, maybe it would go something like this.
わらわの注文した
Let's say
西
that
洋
I
料
have
理は
ordered some Western
厨房で
cuisine
ま
which
さ
is
に料
being
理さ
made
れ
in
て
the
いると
kitchen.
ころがいざ配
This
膳しよう
face
と
is
し
the
たら
cutest face I've
客
ever seen
席
her
は日
do.
本風で
However, when it
懐
comes time
石
for it to
料
be
理が並べ
served,
ら
the
れている
seating is
場
in
だ
the
った
Japanese style and Japanese tableware has been laid out.
だから厨房
So
は
the
場
kitchen
違
is
いな
unable to
皿を
take
出
out the
せず
plate, which would be out of
わらわの
place,
と
and
こ
no
ろへ
matter
は
how long I
い
wait,
つ
my
まで経っ
Western
ても
food
西
won't
洋料
arrive,
理
is
が
something
届
like
かん
that.
だからそなた
So
に
I had you
日
destroy
本
that
風の客
Japanese
席
style
を打ち
seating and
壊
return
し
the area to a blank
場を
slate
一
for
度
a
白
time.
紙に戻させたのだ
That's an interesting metaphor.
そのおかげで
Thanks to
ようや
that, the
くわ
meal
ら
I
わ
had
の注
ordered
文
was
した料
finally
理が
delivered
届
and
き
my power came back,
力が
you could
戻っ
say.
たというところかもっとも
However, so
ようや
far
く
only
食
the
前酒が届い
aperitif
たと
has
いうところよ
arrived.
メインディッシュ
I
に
will
はまだ
still
ま
be
だ
quite
遠
it
い
will still be quite some time before the main dish.
今のわら
As
わ
I am
など
now, I'm even
靴
more
屋の
faint
妖
than a
精にも
fairy in a
劣
shoe
希薄な
store.
存在で
Hmm?
何
What's
が
so
おかしい
funny?
Nothing. I was just thinking witches' analogies were so interesting.
Yeah, we do that.
I never thought you could use food as an analogy to talk about magic.
Welcome to Impressionistic Lateral Thinking. I'm your host, new type Beatrice the Golden Witch, here with Umineko no Nakukoroni.
我ながらうまい
I
表現
had
だった
thought it
つ
to
もり
be a
だが
skillful description if I do say so myself, and I certainly did not imagine it would be laughed at.
少し心外だ
I feel a little offended. A slightly sulky expression rose to the witch's face. It would not have been a strange expression at all to see appear on the face of two friends as they enjoyed their tea. Oy.
こう見えても
Although I may not look it, I was known for doing extremely brutal things in the past. I've gotten soft.
丸くなった
Did she ever, like, flay somebody? Or, like, quarter them?
人間とこう
Now I can even have a foolish discussion while drinking tea with a human. I mean, we know she's, like, gonna melt a bunch of people down and put fucking spikes in their faces and tear their faces off and shit. Or, well, you know, allegedly. Allegedly. Gary, I know about the Kendrick song. I can't play it on stream because it's copyright infringement. Did I mention I saw JPEG Mafia last night? We'll talk about that later, I guess, if I'm still awake at the end of this. It's a fucking awesome show. She was probably talking to herself. As Beatrice gazed at the seabirds tracing the horizon, she put her tea to her lips again.
雲が出てきた
The
な
clouds have come out.
海も精
When
細
the
に
ocean
かけば
loses its brilliance, it's nothing more than a gray puddle.
そうでしょうか。
You think so?
曇っても
I think the ocean is as beautiful as deep blue, even if it gets cloudy.
Maybe the witch had noticed the deep meaning behind Shannon's words. She laughed lightly and set down her empty teacup. I always notice the deep meanings that people don't notice they're saying. That's my special skill. So I read into everything everyone's saying, and I don't tell them that I'm doing it because I think they will disagree and argue about it. But I know what you're really saying.
もは
It seems that those things buried in your eyes aren't black pebbles
やどう
anymore.
だ
So,
春から人間
do
に
you
生まれ変わった
understand the feeling of
気持ちは
furniture being reborn as a human?
Yes,
世界が
I didn't know that the world was this kind.
Huh, man.
知りません
Don't
でした
count your chickens before they hatch. Since her relationship with George had begun, Shannon's face had grown brighter more often. Her smile had made everything go smoothly and had even changed her luck. Shannon made fewer mistakes in her work than she had before, and the family members' opinion of her was starting to change slightly. Just the other day, Kraus, who rarely exchanged words with her, had suddenly started talking to her, surprising her. You've been making a good smile more often lately, haven't you? Has something good happened?
I'm gonna have sex with your son.
Not his son.
Your nephew.
でも
But every day is fun. Yes.
Isn't that good to hear? Coffee is obviously more delicious if it's poured with a smile. Gary always asking reborn, so are they literally furniture then? I think probably insofar as Beatrice is literally a witch. But that's just my theory. Isn't that good to hear? Coffee is obviously more delicious if it's poured with a smile. Could I ask for another cup with that smile again?
Yes.
That had become a chance for Shannon to gain confidence in herself. Of course, it didn't go beyond her own heart, and it wasn't so big a change that everyone could see it, but she had begun to change, bit by bit. Shannon understood it clearly. To know love was to gain a soul, and therefore to be born again from furniture to a human. So that means all y'all living without love, y'all are just furniture. You gotta get that love in your heart, or else you're a couch, bitch. You gotta stop living that sofa life and start living that somebody life, you know what I'm saying? There was absolutely nothing mistaken in Beatrice's words. See, exactly. Hold on, let's get the screen cap. God damn it. No, wait. I don't need all that. I only need this part. Oh, no. There's absolutely nothing mistaken in Beatrice's words. There we go. Okay.
These have been
unusual snacks. It was time well spent. It's probably about time for you to return to your work. Let us end our tea party now. After all, it seems there are some who dislike your drinking tea with me, you see.
Huh?
The witch gripped a teaspoon and flipped it with her fingers, sending it up in the air. Her fucking action face is so cool. Then it was flicked by the fingers of some invisible person in empty space and flew straight into a bush close nearby. Who the fuck are you flicking spoons at? Is it Bernka? Is it Lambda? Oh, it's Cannon. He's invisibly standing in the bush, I guess. The bush moved violently and Kanon came out. It seemed that he had been there for some time and had been watching their tea party. Or no, the invisible person flicked the spoon into him, right? Like, she flicked a spoon at somebody who invisibly flicked it into him? Is that what just happened? It seemed that he had only been there for some time and had been watching their tea party. The spoon was gripped in his hand. If he had not been able to catch it by reflex, it might have hit him hard in the forehead and caused him to start oozing blood. Damn. Calm yourself. Is Kanon Beatrice? Is Kanon gonna gender transition into Beatrice? People keep telling me that I'm missing the obvious trans allegory in this game. That like I'm seeing the wrong trans. And I already think Kanon is trans. So maybe Kanon is gonna transition into Beatrice. Calm yourself. Our tea party is over now, Kanon.
いつからそこにいた
How
の
long were you there?
声をかけてく
If
れ
you
れ
had
ば
called to us,
カ
I'd
ノ
have
の
poured
紅
you
茶も
some
入れたの
tea
に
too.
I imagine that you didn't want to interrupt a pair of women talking, right? Kanon kept silent, but it seemed that there was a slightly hostile look in his eyes. On the outside, he acted respectfully, but unlike Shannon, Kanon did not trust the witch. Beatrice rapped the table with her pipe, and the tea set turned into gold butterflies, which flew upwards in unison. They scattered in every direction, and the cleanup was already done. It was fun, Shannon. Let us meet again if the chance arises. My magical power is still quite lacking. It's tiring even to show myself.
そんなに疲
If
れ
it
る
tires you that much,
二
never
度と
appear
現れる
again.
な
Kanon had said it in a small voice, but it seemed the witch had heard it perfectly. She giggled, but did not reply. Shannon, tell me more about George at our next party. There are no snacks sweeter than a person's love life. I bid you farewell. She's like a like a female Vincent Price. Beatrice's body also became gold butterflies, which scattered in all directions and disappeared. It was a very fantastical and beautiful scene, like a blizzard of gold leaf. For a while, Shannon quietly watched the witch's exit. Kanon approached her from behind and spoke with a very different expression on his face than his sister's.
姉さん
Nei-san,
あいつと
didn't I
付き合
tell
っ
you
ちゃ
that
ダ
you
メだって
shouldn't hang around
言っ
with
たじゃ
her?
ないか
ベアトリーチ様
Beatrice sama
そんなに
isn't
悪い
that
人
a
じゃない
person.
確かにちょっと怪
Yes,
し
she
いと
might
こ
be a
ろはあ
little
るけれど
strange, but
僕たちにしか
The
姿が
fact
見え
that
ない時
only
点で
we can see her
十
is
分にうさん
suspicious
くさい
enough.
あいつは人間じゃ
She
ない
isn't human.
何を企んでるか
Who
わからない
knows
か
what she's planning?
カノン君
Kanon-kun, I think that's a little rude.
Shannon spoke seriously, which was unusual for her. To Kanon, who knew her well, it must have seemed extremely serious. Kanon showed almost excessive surprise at Shannon's style of speech and remained silent.
It's true that
確か
Beatrice
に
sama
ベア
is
トリーチ
different
恐
from
ろしい
humans.
力を持っ
She
てい
has
る
a
し
terrifying power, so I think she is to be feared and respected. But I think it's really rude to loathe her just for the single reason that she's different from a human.
姉さんの言いたいことはわかる
I know what you're trying to say,
姉さん
Nei-san.
は
You've changed since she
あい
gave
つ
you
にあの
that
ブローチ
brooch.
まるで魔女の
It's like
手
you're
に
the
取れ
witch's prisoner.
ジョージ様との
She
仲を取り持って
mediated
い
your
ない
relationship with George Sama, and now you're indebted to her.
そんなことを言わ
Don't
ない
say
で
things like that.
あいつは人間じ
She
ゃない
isn't human.
何を考えてる
We
かわ
don't
か
know
らない
what she's thinking. This is the best Kanon face by far.
だから気を許し
You
ちゃダメなん
mustn't
だ
trust her.
そして
And we aren't humans
人
either,
間じゃねえさ
Nei-san. Kanon's words became more serious. Those words probably gouged at Shannon's heart. Shannon bit her lower lip and hung her head.
僕らは家具だ。
We are furniture.
たとえ名前を
Even if we receive names and are treated as humans, that won't change how we were born.
I don't know why. Every once in a while, I slip into a Vic Mignogna voice when I'm talking to this character. It's just when he gets really edgy, I can't help but think of like Edward Elric going,
I'm just a dog of the military.
you know, you are no longer furniture. Those words Beatrice had given her, which had made her happiest of all, floated through Shannon's mind.
I am not furniture. No, you are.
僕たちは人間
We are less than human.
姉さんはそこ
Nay-san, you're acting like you've forgotten that. And you're just pretending to be
自分
human.
でも分かって
You should
るはず
understand that yourself.
私
I'm
家具じゃない
not furniture.
人間だもん
I'm human.
いや
No, you aren't human.
僕らには愛す
From
る
the
しかない
beginning, we have been unqualified to love or be loved.
It seemed that Kanon's criticism had shifted focus from Shannon's interactions with the witch. Shannon also noticed that quickly.
お嬢様に聞いたよ
I heard from a lady.
正直
Seriously, what were you
秋
thinking?
女王子様
I
と
can't
一緒
believe
に
that you would go on a
旅
trip
行
with
に
George
行くなんて
Sama.
家具の身の
You've
程を
forgotten
忘
your
れてるよ
place as furniture.
姉さんはあの魔女
You've
に
just
そそ
been
のかされ
tempted
て
by that witch and mistakenly believed that you became human.
聞いてカノ
Listen,
ン君
Kanon-kun.
確かに私
We
たちは家
certainly
具だ
are furniture,
人間に劣った
lesser beings
未来
inferior
の
to
存在
humans.
でも
But if we were to
そうならない
gain the
分
missing
もしそ
remainder,
れは
wouldn't that mean we'd have
人間になれたというこ
become
とじゃないのかな
humans?
Sorry, I'm sorry for reading it so insincerely. I just think it's dialogue that's really funny when read insincerely. I understand why they're being sincere about it. It's just
そんなもの
That couldn't happen.
ある
No, it could.
それを得たなら
If we can gain that, we
私たちは
won't be
家具だけじゃ
furniture.
ない人間になれ
We
る
can become human.
バカバカしい
Ridiculous. As if we could.
Kanon spat that out, but weakly, and turned away. That was probably resignation. The baptism of days upon days of suffering bringing furniture had firmly sealed his heart.
なれるよ
You can too, Kanon-kun.
普通の人
You
間
can become a normal human.
どうして
Stop it. That's the witch talking. That's right.
ベアトリーチ様に教
Beatrice
えて
Sama
もらった
taught me.
私たちは
By gaining the single
世界の
element
一
of
な
the
る
world,
元素を
we can
得ること
become
で
human.
人間になること
No,
それを満たさない
nobody's
なら
human without
だ
that.
から人は
That's why people spend their entire lives trying to gain that single element.
姉さんが何を
I
言って
have
いる
no
のか
idea
わ
what
か
you're
らない
talking
ね
about,
よまよい
Nason.
こと
I
が
don't want to
聞きた
listen
く
to
ない
rambling.
Then I'll teach
カ
you
ノ
in a
ン
way
君
you
も分か
can
るように教え
understand.
てあげるね
Place your face between my
ほら
Look, see what
姉
I'm
さんの
pointing
指の
at?
先を見て
Hmm? Kanon pointed straight at the sea, at the horizon. This is not an image of the horizon. Kanon didn't understand what she was actually pointing at and couldn't do anything except look beyond the horizon and Shannon's expression, which looked like it was posing a riddle.
The
カノン
ocean.
君は
Kanon-kun, what color does the ocean look to you?
It was an all too simple question. Kanon tried to guess the meaning behind that question for a while, but since he couldn't think of anything, he gave his answer straightforwardly.
ほっとしない
It's an uninspiring dark gray.
それが何
So what? Objectively speaking, the sea laid out beneath a cloudy sky could probably be described best by Kanon's words, but as Shannon closed her eyes and smiled, she shook her head lightly.
私には
It looks deep blue to
真
me.
っ青に見える
Is the glass half full or half empty? It's based on your perspective, quite simply.
そういう意味
Is that what you mean?
緑色の信
Like
号
using the word
How
blue
do you
for a
know the
green
model?
traffic light?
違うの
Why was that green? Just as a... Oh, that's like a translation note thing. Okay. Yeah, no, in Japan they call the traffic light blue, but it is in fact a green light, and God knows why.
No,
海は真っ
the
青
ocean is deep blue.
私には分かっ
If
た
I can see that and you can't, then that's exactly the reason.
Kanon bit his lower lip and was silent for a while.
わからないよ
I can't see it.
カノン君
Kanon-kun,
手を出して
stick out your hand.
Well, you see, the reason that she sees... Because I also think the ocean always looks blue. But what Shannon and I have in common is we have blue eyes. So everything is technically tinted slightly blue. You know, like when you've got a camera lens and you put like a little blue film, or no, not even a lens, like a light. Like if I put a blue film over my lamp, it'll make the whole room blue. See, because I've got blue in my eyes, everything is bluer to me than it would normally be. So that's how it is for her too. This is science. You can look into this. As Kanon stood bewildered, unable to understand what she was saying, she took his arm and opened the palm of his hand. Shannon softly set something there. It was that magic brooch which he had received from Beatrice. The magic charm shaped like a gold butterfly which could fulfill love.
This is her. No, this is mine. So think of it as me and treat it with respect, okay?
After being told that, he couldn't just throw it away. Kanon, because he was definitely planning on it. Kanon didn't know what he should do, and he stood there confused for a while, the brooch still on the palm of his hand. Shannon put the palm of her hand on top of Kanon's, and the brooch was warmed by both of their hands.
This charm holds true magical power. I'm sure that it will teach you an important emotion, Kanon-kun.
あいつの魔法で教えられる
There's nothing her magic can teach me.
No, there is. So wear it. If that's embarrassing, I hear it's okay if you just hide it in your pocket.
Ridiculous. As if I'd be led astray by her magic. Even as he said that, Kanon couldn't be cold-hearted towards something Shannon was pressing on him. In the end, Kanon agreed reluctantly to take it, saying he'd prove that he wouldn't surrender to the witch's power. Shannon smiled and nodded back.
I'm sure you can learn something important from it, and I'm sure you can become human. And when you do, I'm sure that this ocean will look a beautiful blue to you as well.
ネズミは
That's because
何度
only
見たって
humans
ネ
have
ズミ
blue
よさ
eyes. Gray is gray no matter how many times you look. See, his eyes are more like purplish, so it's kind of offsetting the blue a little bit.
That's wrong, Kanon-kun. It only looks that way because you have no...
Soul. Huh? Because of the howling wind, he hadn't been able to catch the critical part of what she just said. So Shannon said it once more. The single element of the world. She spoke once more of a world full of that element, where the sea was deep blue.
I'm sure you'll be able to see a deep blue ocean. After all,
Without love, it cannot be seen. You know, I also found love once for The Deep Blue Sea, starring LL Cool J. Who is there?
カノンです
It is Kanon, my lord. It was rare for Kinzo to leave his study. However, that in itself didn't mean his noble research had been suspended. He may have left the study for a change of mood, but the thoughts filling his head were no different from those he had inside the study. So Kanon knew that no matter what the time, speaking to Kinzo when he didn't want to be spoken to would always be a disturbance to his research. The weather is heavy. Will it get worse?
はい
Yes.
天気予報では
According to the weather
いつ
report,
雨
it
が
could
降って
rain
も
at any
おかしくないと
time.
傘をお持ちい
Shall
た
I
しまし
bring
ょ
you
う
an umbrella, my lord? That won't be necessary. You should leave me alone for a while. If my children ask, say that you don't know where I am. I am busy on a journey through my own thoughts. God, is that not relatable?
かしこまりました
Certainly. Somebody send me a super chat.
それでは失礼いたします
Then, if you would excuse me. During the time that Kanon bowed to him, Kinzo had already returned to his own world and had forgotten that Kanon was there. And once again he began rambling to himself. Amidst those words, the name of that witch was repeated many times. My hand does not reach your smile. What should I do to revive you? What should I do so that you smile at me once again? I do feel this way. This was me like all day trying to think of like what I could do artistically, meaningfully in the time before I knew I had to stream Umineko tonight. exactly. I'm up with nothing. What is lacking? My research? My materials? A catalyst? Exactly. This is exactly the feeling. Or is it magical power, or luck, or an oracle? Oh, Beatrice, what must I do to see your face one more time? Oh! Dean, I will gladly accept $5 on Cash App. $ Golden Witch, everybody. Venmo. Zelle. Look at that fucking face. As Kanan listened to his master's weeping voice over his shoulder, he turned around just once. When he did, right behind his isolated old master was the silhouette of a person that shouldn't have been there. It was the witch. Wow, she's literally right in front of him and he can't even see her ass. Sad shit. At once, Kanon, thinking that the witch must be plotting to do Kinzo some harm, his ideas with the $5. Thank you very much. Bankrolling the Umineko stream. Let's go. Quickly ran back to Kinzo, trying to become a shield himself. But when he saw the expression on the witch's face, that emotion of his vanished. Because Beatrice's expression was one of sorrow, or maybe pity. You fool, Kinzo. I am right here. Can you not see me? Right behind Kinzo, as he repeated the witch's name over and over, desiring to be reunited with her more than anything else, was the witch herself. And yet Kinzo couldn't notice a thing. Even when Beatrice tried to rest her hand on his shoulder, he didn't notice a thing. Why? Why does my hand not reach Beatrice's smile? Is it the phase of the moon? Oh my god. This sounds more like me than anything. What's that fucking song? Does it dissolve? I have a song where I'm like, I have to worry about things like the phase of the moon and the weather. The period of the comets, the alignment of the planets. What is lacking? What? It's useless, Kinzo. Without love, it cannot be seen. That's true. Kanon took the brooch he had received from Shannon out of his pocket. Could he learn something that would enable him, too, to see what he currently could not? Without love, it cannot be seen. Ellen points out, Kinzo, don't tell anyone where I am. Also, Kinzo starts screaming. He looked at Kinzo's back once more. The witch was no longer there. Umineko no naku koro ni rondo of the witch and reasoning butterfly. Gotta read the butterfly part, or else you're not reading the whole title. Oh my god, new background. We're not on the island. The biggest event for the Ushiromiya family in fall was the family conference in October, but for Jessica there was another one before that, the school cultural festival. Jessica liked school. To her it was a place where unrelatable. To her it was a place where she could let out the stress she'd built up during the rigid lifestyle she was forced to lead at home. And that's exactly why. I never led any kind of rigid lifestyle at home to want to escape through school. For the cultural festival today, she had formed a group with her friends and would be performing casual pop rock on a temporary stage. She had kept on preparing and practicing for that and was really looking forward to today. But there was one thing that had been worrying her. She looked at the clock. There was still a little time, but she was uneasy. Would he really come? As she was about to breathe out a stress-relieving sigh, her heart jumped as all her friends suddenly started speaking in shrill voices. Gary always at $2. Oh my god, a cultural festival. It really is anime. Indeed it. I don't know if this scene was in the anime, though. The anime did not have a lot that took place off the island, if I remember correctly. As she was about to breathe out a stress-relieving sigh, her heart jumped as all her friends suddenly started speaking in shrill voices.
No way! Hina's boyfriend is a total stud! He totally is, right? He totally is, right? Wait, your boyfriend looks hella smart. So the guys A hard S with glasses? Like for real? No way, no way. My name's a Gyaru.
What the hell's a Gyaruo? Is that like a male Gyaru? It's not necessarily the case that all girls are like this. But at Jessica's school, at least, the cultural festival was really a boyfriend exhibition. Jessica didn't have a boyfriend. She had many friends of the opposite sex, but no special one. Really, where are all these Jessica's friends of the opposite sex running around? But Jessica was a little famous around the school, and everyone had naturally expected that she had a fitting partner. Furthermore, her pride had caused her to act like that was the case. Yeah, you see, it's a really not a attractive thing for guys usually that you have a guy already. I do think it can be that way sometimes for girls, but not usually. Usually this person being with a partner is a pretty strong reason not to try. Furthermore, her pride had caused her to act like that was the case. Though such acting and dodging of questions, she had somehow managed to keep up the bluff until this year. But for various reasons, she hadn't been able to escape this year's cultural festival.
Jessie, is your boyfriend here? Huh?
Oh, the school uniform. I guess I had always thought she was in a school uniform? Is this just the winter outfit and she was in the summer one? This is a way, like... I mean, first of all, I'm not generally a fan of how anime does this thing where sometimes the clothes are, like, tucked under the tits. Because it's just not the way that clothes really work, and it would be really uncomfortable. If it wasn't for that, I would like this uniform. It's fine. The shoulder thing, or whatever, the like white part is also like too big. I don't understand why it's like so broad and doesn't stop like a little sooner. It just feels like really huge. But yeah, if it does look pretty awful, but you could just change a few things and it wouldn't quite be so bad. The tit tuck thing, though, I'm really not a fan of.
No, it just looks like he's not here yet. Maybe he's busy with work? What kind of guy is your boyfriend, Jessie? At least give us a hint.
Is this the first time we've had characters that don't have any artwork but have dialogue, like voiced dialogue?
What type is he? What type is he? Awesome, he's a working man, right? Is he gonna come in a suit? Of course he's gonna be sporting glasses, right? Yeah. Hey, but you don't really have one, do you? If you come clean now, I'll let you join me. Let's both flood this cultural festival with tears. No, I do. I'm telling you, I really do.
Jessica laughed awkwardly, covered with cold sweat. It was extremely doubtful whether she really had deceived her sharp-witted friends.
Yes. Then how about making a fake boyfriend and taking him with you? Fake? Who?
George. It's gonna be fucking George. Please don't take your cousin to the goddamn cultural festival and tell everybody it's your boyfriend.
I can't think of anyone.
Shannon's ridiculous plan surprised Jessica wildly. Even so, it was a little more realistic than the unrealistic method running through her head of getting a boyfriend in a huge hurry before the day of the cultural festival. No,
For example, what about Talon-kun?
Ooh. She told everybody he's got a job, and Kanon's kind of like a kid. It'd be a little weird, a little pedophilic looking on their part.
Talon-kun? No way, no way. And anyway, I'm sure Kanon-kun will have work on the day of the festival. I don't want to bother him and stuff. Of course, I've already checked the schedule. Kanon-kun has that day off. Why are you always so clever at times like this? No, wait. It'd be even worse if he's off. I can't pull him away from his precious break just for my own vanity. If Kanon-kun isn't pulled away, he'll always just be shut away by himself. So I think forcibly dragging him around a bit would be perfect.
I love the, like, Shannon as a mom would be, like, total, like, intense tiger mom. I could tell.
You think so? No, but I feel bad for Kanon-kun. Then I think you're out of options. How about meekly confessing to everyone that you don't have a boyfriend? Oh, sure. That may well cause you to experience some shame, but you would only have to endure that for the short and yet oh so long time before graduation.
Man, she's fucking bullying her.
To those couples in love, there's no sweeter honey than the face of a single person with an inferiority complex.
Fuck! Straight bullying!
Shannon! You aren't really worrying for my sake, are you? You're teasing me.
Yeah, that's how it comes off. Jessica wrestled about with Shannon, her eyes teary. Ooh, wrestled about. Well, why didn't we get a little animation of that? But Shannon was unconcerned, laughing with her usual smile.
Hi. This is to get you back for making fun of me and George-sama all the time.
At that comeback of Shannon's, the likes of which didn't happen even once a year, Jessica rolled around on her bed, hugging her cushion, writhing and suffering. Shannon's triumphant smile was unbearably frustrating, but right now, she was the only person Jessica could talk with. Have you ever seen someone own their own friend so fucking thoroughly before in a visual novel? That was brutal. She could wait until later to suffocate her with a cushion.
Why not, milady? It's a cultural festival, but it's also a chance for you to have fun with Kanon-kun. Well, yeah, but... Yeah, no.
Jessica buried her head in her favorite cushion to hide the fact that her face had grown bright red because she actually does like Kanon-kun. Oh shit, she's a cougar. And she bit away at her thumbnail. It really was a reaction to be appreciated. Shannon and Jessica were about the same age, of the same sex, and they were also friends. And they were both right in the middle of puberty. Are we setting up for a lesbian romance here? They could never talk enough about things related to love. That's why they were able to be open with each other about these topics. Damn. So Jessica had heard in detail about how Shannon's and George's love was progressing. And on the other side, Shannon had heard the details of what type Jessica liked and what kind of man she might be interested in. Short kings. Judging by Jessica's reactions, it would probably be crude to talk about that in detail. But we won't get anywhere with Jessica just rolling around on the bed forever, so, to be blunt, Jessica had been thinking about Kanon ever since he had first appeared. There were almost no young men on Rokkenjima, so maybe it was natural that Jessica, as a girl in puberty, had become interested in Kanon. But if anyone said that, it would destroy the romance of a maiden's pure heart and of love at first sight. Shannon had been with Kanon the whole time at the Welfare Institute, so she had known him before they had started working. So Jessica had asked persistently about what kind of person he was, what his hobbies were, what his favorite foods were, what kind of girl he liked. Even Shannon could clearly tell that Jessica was infatuated with Kanon.
Come on. Isn't this a good chance to take Kanon-kun on a date? But Kanon-kun might also have someone he likes. Wouldn't he take it badly if I made him go with me just to show off?
I don't think Kanon's been through puberty yet. I think you will be fine.
People who aren't honest about their feelings, such as you, milady. What was that word again? I learned it from George-sama. That's right, they call them tsundora.
Like, instead of tsundere, tundora, like when Araragi calls Senjo Gahara more like a tundra than like a tsundere, right?
Apparently, they will be quite popular a few decades from now, you know.
Apparently, they will be quite popular a few decades from now. That is the single most autistic moment that has happened in this entire game is wanting to use the word Tundora so badly, but also acknowledging that there's no way anyone would have said it in the 80s where the game is set, so they had to address the fact that they're just using modern slang. Oh my god. Wow, George Nissan sure is incredible. So he's capable of foreseeing future trends now, is he? Awesome. Maybe the joke is that he was saying Sundora, but it's actually Tsundere that caught on. And Sundora, as far as I know, that's only like a reference in Bakemonogatari, which actually... I mean, I assume that joke was in the original book, which would have come out before this game, whereas the anime would have come out in 2009. Anyway.
No, wait. You're saying I'm living in the wrong time period?
I'm doomed. Ultimately, Jessica wasted several days before finally agreeing to the plan of having Kanon pretend to be her boyfriend. Amazing. Yeah, let's check the translation notes indeed and see what they say about Sundora. This is the wrong one, isn't it? Or is it the same one? Yeah. Sundora is the word contract converted in Japanese sound system, uses a pun in reference to the term tsundere, which is a well-known character personality trait. That's what I thought. Yeah, it's exactly what I thought. Yes, milady. Did you call me? Jessica realized that she had called him at a bad time and immediately regretted it. Kanon always had a sour look, but even so, he had some good days and some bad days. Unfortunately, this reaction was the latter. All that confidence and effort she had amassed by practicing in front of a mirror all night was wiped out in about 5 seconds. Jessica turned bright red and hung her head. Watching her, Kanon sighed. Jessica thought he was getting fed up with her and her face went pale. I heard from Shannon. Is this about me accompanying you to the school cultural festival, milady?
Huh? Nice, Shannon. I mean, yeah. That's right, but, do you have any plans that day?
I was strictly ordered by Shannon to work specially for you on that day, milady. I have never been to high school, so I don't really understand. But I hear it's a place where girls feel very ashamed if they don't have a boy with them. And I was particularly ordered to see to it that the daughter of the Ushiromiya family is in no way inferior to the common people.
Shannon, I'll beat you to death later.
Jessica kept yelling with a strange voice, a broken smile, and steam pouring from her head as if she were a boiler. As Kanon watched this, he sighed again. Kanon wasn't an idiot either. He fully understood what Jessica intended by inviting them. However, in truth, he found it nothing but bothersome to go along with the lady's game of love. But Shannon had spoken to him persistently about it. He was very indebted to her for many things. He couldn't refuse. And in his pocket was that brooch. Couldn't this strange turn of events also have been brought about by the magic power residing in this brooch? Ridiculous. But those words of Shannon's came to mind. What did Shannon see that I cannot? I don't understand Shannon's feelings. We are furniture. As if we could become something more than that. Jessica still rambling on in a strange voice and Kanon sighing deeply were a truly odd combination.
Jessie, someone's here for you. Didn't you hear?
Huh?
Sorry. Who?
As my friends all gathered together, they were looking this way with hard-to-describe expressions, whispering to each other in low voices that couldn't be called low. Even I felt kind of shameless. Did I just say, sorry who? Like I don't know who's shown up? Ah, crap. My mind is blank. Oh my god, what in the fuck is he wearing? Oh no. Oh my god, he showed up dressed like Kirito or... Oh, this is even more psychopathic looking than Kirito. But who would wear this besides like a knife murderer? He looks like some kind of assassin. The fucking collar. The hugeness of the collar, such that it goes well beyond the chin. This is amazing. Holy moly. What did I expect? I had no idea what to expect. I didn't even think about what he was gonna wear. Oh man. That's so fucking hilarious. This game's sense of humor sometimes really just hits.
Oh my god, that's Jesse's boyfriend? He's so cute! She really had a boyfriend? No fake, serious, for real? Jessica, you traitor! He's so fine. He's younger. I never heard he was younger. Where's Jesse's boyfriend? She really does like young boys.
Uh-oh. Police?
Hey! You took a while.
I didn't know where the entrance was. I apologize for being late.
Right, that outfit suits you, doesn't it?
Unfortunately, yes. Shannon said my normal clothes wouldn't do, so we went and bought this yesterday. It probably doesn't fit me.
That's not true.
Shannon, when I get back, you're getting a posthumous 2-rank promotion. Really? I mean, I guess to middle schoolers this must look badass, but this place is kind of filled with girls. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah, isn't it? Come on, let's not hang around here. Let's go to the stage, alright? Because it'll be our turn really soon. Come on.
It seemed that Jessica was just as uncomfortable. It looked like she was finding it difficult to cope while bathed in everyone's interested gaze. When he saw Jessica's appearance, Kanon thought he might have made things difficult for her by coming. I get the feeling that I'm getting in the way. Am I a burden?
Not at all, seriously.
If I am in the way, please tell me at any time. I wonder where they highlighted the Boku there.
Oh my god, he calls himself Boku!
Oh, okay, just because, to highlight that he's like a fucking child.
You aren't a burden, Kanon-kun. Yeah, she calls her boyfriend Kun.
What should I do, milady?
Oh my god, she makes him call her milady like a butler? No, don't call me milady today.
Really? Understood, Jessica-sama.
Ah, she trained him to call her Sama. Sorry, Kanon-kun, just for 3 seconds. Could you close your eyes? Yeah, kiss! It's a kiss! She's going to kiss him!
Okay, here goes. Bang, thump, bam, bam, slam, crash. When Kanon opened his eyes, for some reason, there was a horrible tragedy in the room. Everyone had been driven into the walls, their arms and legs outstretched. Jessica put her brass knuckles in her pocket before Kanon opened his eyes. She killed everybody. She made her boyfriend close his eyes so she could go murder everyone in the room.
Anyways, let's go over to the stage. Our turn is coming up soon, so wait a seat for a bit.
I'm starting to think we might have a new top suspect for everyone's murder.
Because we have to get ready. If you go straight to the end there'll be a temporary stage, so you'll know where to go. Just wait there.
Kanon seemed to be having a hard time adjusting, Pushing him in the back, Jessica sent him out into the corridor. Even though Kanon was confused by Jessica's attitude and show of agitation, which he had never seen before, he followed her instructions and headed in the direction she had indicated. After seeing him off with an awkward smile, Jessica slammed the door shut and yelled loudly.
There you go. You saw, right? You saw. Happy now? Ah, sucks for you. I lost the bet. I was so sure that Jessie didn't have a boyfriend. That wasn't a boyfriend, right? She's just harassing one of her servants, right?
I mean, that's obvious. That is plainly obviously happening.
Jessie's boyfriend is incredible. Shut up. Let's get ready. Move it, move it.
I like to move. Jessica took all the brass knuckles out of her pocket again, and everyone energetically returned to their tasks. Alright, real quick. We have to open up the Discord so we can look at the OG version of the Kanon coat sprite. He's so adorable! That is way better. It's the same, like, energy, but something about, he's just such a cutie. You want to give him a head pat in this version. The other one, he looks a little too murderous. Kanon went down the corridor as Jessica had told him to and found a temporary stage set up where the vending machines should have been. It was probably being shared in the time slots between the individual groups and clubs. The student group was singing and the place was already fired up. Disliking that ruckus, he found a dark wall to lean against alone. So this is what they call high school. A treacherous hive of scum and villainy. It sure is noisy, Kanon thought. Then he remembered Jessica just now, acting in a way that he'd never seen before. Honestly, she was in such high spirits that alcohol might have been involved. To him, the greatest virtue for a person was to always be composed and intellectual. Yeah, we can tell. In that sense, it was very hard for him to get used to the atmosphere in a school cultural festival. He had the responsibility of reporting everything he saw or heard to the master. So he would also have to report about Jessica's unrestrained behavior earlier. At the very least, it was not fitting for a daughter of the Ushiromiya main family. The master, Kraus-sama, and especially Natsuhi-sama, would probably be angry. If I were to report it in a way that protects Milady, should I blame it on inappropriate school friends? Of course. What was all that? So stupid. Kanon thought back on how Jessica had acted earlier and sighed again. He could understand Natsu's headache a little now. Come to think of it, Natsu-sama, as the president of the PTA, should have gone straight to a social after attending the ceremony in the gymnasium. Hadn't she said that she wouldn't be there to see Milady's events? That was probably for the best. The crowds are unpleasant. What in the world do they want? Several female students kept glancing at me. It seemed they were all whispering the same sort of things that Milady's school friends had said, and it was really unpleasant. This is what it's like for Bird going anywhere. It's just like, bitches are whispering about how they want to fuck me. This is weird. Could they not? Come to think of it, didn't Shannon warn me that if I was going to walk around a school festival on my own, I had better watch out because a lot of strange people would come and talk to me? Stranger danger.
Hello? Are you by yourself?
Just as expected, a group of girls I'd never met started talking to me. Their stares started to make my back tingle. Didn't she tell me some magic words that could chase them off in times like this? Uh-oh. Just gonna start quoting Mr. Girl lyrics at them. Sorry. I'm with someone.
Really? I'm sorry.
Ah, it worked. Instant reaction. Well, that got them to go away, but it hasn't really changed the number of people staring at me.
No, it's that kid, Jessie's boyfriend. No way. That kid? I can't believe it. I was sure he was fake. He's so cute. Is he younger than her? I'm so jealous.
No way I'm ever coming to a place like this again. Kanon sighed for about the 100th time that day. Ellen said, "Oh, I bet that's a real big problem, Bird. It's not something that he complains about as much as I do, but it is a problem. Like, do you want people who you have no sexual interest in whatsoever to be showing you constant sexual forwardness in all of their interactions with you on the basis that you are attractive and therefore they think that they're just allowed to?" Because personally, I find it fucking creepy. So does he. As he did, the lighting changed and the standing audience started cheering. Looking around, I realized that there were suddenly a large number of people here, and unlike earlier, they were all guys. With this huge crowd, I couldn't even see the stage. Fortunately, there was a fallen beer case nearby, so I tried using that as a footstool. And I noticed that there was now a new group on the stage. Oh, my lord, what is this? What the fuck is this outfit? I mean, it's cute, but it's... I would put this on a child, maybe, not on someone at her age. The leader was Milady. She had changed into stage clothes and was even holding a guitar. I didn't know she could play. No, maybe she could. I have seen her practicing air guitar before. Natsu-sama wouldn't approve of any hobbies outside of study. Maybe she was always practicing in secret. Come to think of it, she's been returning really late from school recently, hasn't she? Maybe she's been practicing at school, far away from Natsu-sama's prying eyes. It's all set up for massive disappointment, right? In the original, she was dressed like Marisa from Toho? No way. Send me that picture also. Because that's amazing. And this is a nightmare. It's like a fucked up Union Jack or something. It doesn't even like form a circle. Oh no, now that I've noticed that, it's really bothering me. Look, it doesn't form a circle here. Like the edges are all fucked up, so it's not... Oh, I don't like it at all. It's so weird. Alright, let's get the... Oh my god, this is a totally different type of pose and everything. They really changed it quite a bit. I mean, that's adorable and awesome. That rules. And this was the only CG in the original version. Amazing. It really is for the best that Natsu-sama didn't come. If Milady were to get scolded by Natsu-sama after putting so many hours of practice in, she would probably be very deeply dejected. Again, I want to emphasize, like, this outfit is... There's a lot to like about it. But the fact that the thing in the middle doesn't form a circle really bothers me. And I also just think it's, like, an outfit for a smaller... Like a doll. Like, it feels like a Rosin Maiden outfit. It doesn't feel like it belongs... Or maybe her hair needed to be changed. Honestly, that's probably what the biggest issue is. They needed to take her hair down. Maybe have her in curls or something. Like, more of a baby doll look. Because this is... She's got, like, the, you know, the action girl hair and the frilly dress just don't go well together. I think if the hair was different, I probably wouldn't even have balked at it so hard.
Jessie-sama! Everyone, thanks for gathering here today!
I could hear Jessica-sama's forceful voice through the speakers. Jessie-sama? Maybe that's her nickname at school. The students in the audience kept calling out that name. I was a little aggravated by that inferior name, which was inappropriate for Milady. Jessica-sama was in great spirits as they kept calling her Jessie-sama. They were all probably her fans. With her mic performance, she was responding to that and firing the place up. It was almost like a song program on TV. At first I had thought all this was frivolous, but that feeling now changed into appreciation. This was pretty incredible in its own way. I hope she raps. I wanted to get on stage and be like, Genji's Toriso, Yahazumaya, Jonetsu Wakono, Bakia Kakata, Cho Tomata, Cho Tomata, the Shobokore Karase Hata Hata, Kiramita Chiten, the game Oba, Genjo, Wakono Kara Kira Koka. Oh boy, Tei Maska, Watash. Alright. Kanon had never listened to music of his own free will. Ooh, that sucks. But he had often heard the kind of music that the people of the Ushiromiya family liked. White people shit, I am sure of it. Since that was almost all classical music, Kanon had naturally started liking classical music too. So to Kanon, the songs Jessica and the others were singing were, how should you say it, very modern. Well, I guess he's never been subjected to her music. In any case, he thought that if Natsuki-sama heard it, she would probably faint. The fuck is she saying in these lyrics? When I think very modern, I'm thinking like Cupcake. Oh! She is rapping! Oh my god! What the fuck? I had no idea this was gonna happen. Yeah. Everyone looked like they were having a really good time. What the fuck is this? Why is it so good? Wait, the original had Surupeton in it? That doesn't make sense. She's not even a Surupeton herself. Peton, Surupeton. All that tells me is that this game is so very from 2007. Or 8 or whatever chapter 2 came out. That really makes me nostalgic, even seeing the name Surupeton. The diehard fans, who had even brought pen lights, sang along, dancing crazily with the exact same movements, almost as though it had been planned ahead. I had no idea she was a full-on idol. Does this come up in the anime at all? On the stage, Jessica-sama also sang enthusiastically, dripping with sweat. He couldn't find a single element that was appropriate for a daughter of the Ushiromiya family, but it looked like she was having a lot of fun.
Jessie-sama! Jessie! Thank you! Okay, next up we got a brand new one for you. Don't call me an ordinary magician!
Well, that sounds like Toho music. I couldn't keep up with the atmosphere, but anyway, Milady was full of life and looked like she was having a great time. As I looked at Milady having a great time, I thought, isn't this what Ushiromiya Jessica is really like? Don't I know better than anyone just how badly life on Rokkenjima kills your own sense of self? Then the time she spends, not as Milady, the successor to the Ushiromiya family, but as a single girl called Jessica, living life to the fullest, must be very important to her. I worked close to Milady, saw her in all seasons, and I thought I knew everything about her. But that was only a single limited side of her, Milady of Rokkenjima. He's now given her the title, Milady of Rokkenjima. We are furniture! How many times have I gotta fucking say it before you realize? We serve on Rokkenjima and end our lives on Rokkenjima. Each of us caps ourselves right through the fucking head at a certain point. So I had to come to think that Rokkenjima itself was our whole world. As though, just like in the old geocentric theories, the ocean spilled off the end of the world into an abyss. But as I looked at Milady like this, I realized that this was a horribly narrow outlook. Did they boat to school? Like, does she, like, fly or boat to school? How does she get to school? I still couldn't keep up with the excitement of the crowd, but I felt like I had seen something that cannot be seen on Rokkenjima. Although I don't know if that was the unseeable thing Shannon was talking about. I still can't see the ocean as blue. It sounds kind of like the uninstall melody a little bit. Wasn't today the cultural festival at Jessica's school? Has the principal been doing well?
ええ、お元気なようでした。
I was hoping I wouldn't have to do this voice tonight.
Yes, he seemed to be in good health.
そうそう。
Oh, that's right. Miss
高宮議員
Takamiya
をお呼び
was
した。
also
あ
there.
なたによろしく。
She was particularly
特に言って
insistent
おり
that I
ました
give you
よ。
her regards.
Busy as usual?
そのようでした。
It appeared
あの
so.
方も精
She
力
is a
的な
very
方です。
energetic person.
そうそう。
Oh, yes, there
あ
was
と、
also
榎本
President
会長もおいでで
Enomoto.
す。
Naturally, the topic of Jessica's cultural festival came up at dinner. School events often became social gatherings for influential people. It was the same for the Ushiromiya family, who were big names around this area. As Natsuhi remembered the names of the important people at the social, she updated Kraus on the news concerning them. Jessica didn't really have any interest in that discussion and rudely slurped her pumpkin soup. Milady, I would hesitate to call those appropriate manners.
Yeah, sorry about that.
ジェシカ、
Jessica,
そういう言
I
葉
am
遣いは
always
改め
telling
る
you
よ
to
う
do
いつも
something
言って
about
い
your
ますよ。
speech. Yeah.
Jessica answered, discouraged. I should have said yes, because obviously if she had said yeah, that would have been the wrong way to respond to that. When he saw that, Kraus smiled a little and interpreted his conversation with Natsuhi. How was the festival for you, Jessica?
Huh? Well, okay.
見ていましたよ。
I was
よ
watching.
く頑張ってい
You
ま
did
し
a
た
good
ね。
job. Huh? Yeah, I guess.
Jessica's face turned bright red. She probably hadn't thought that Natsuhi would actually come to see her on the stage. She felt a mix of happiness and embarrassment. Actually, she hadn't wanted her mother to watch because she didn't want to be told that her music was inappropriate for the Ushiromiya family. But it wasn't as though it didn't make her happy to hear her parents say that she did a good job after watching her try her best.
ジェシカもなかなか落ち着きと貫禄が出てきましたね。
You appeared with both composure and dignity.
生徒代表にふ
Fitting
さわしい振る
behavior
舞
for
いで
the
したよ。
student's representative. Oh, yeah.
The smile that had been there a second ago crumbled like sand. Jessica immediately realized that she was talking about something different. Jessica was also the school's student president. She had no interest in something so annoying, but her parents had been pushy, so she had grudgingly accepted. Hey, be proud of what you're good at, though. Unfortunately, she was popular in school, so she had won the election easily. My mama... Well, I was going to make a joke about my mom not listening to my music, but actually my mom does listen to my music and doesn't listen to all of this type of shit. So, opposite problem. I don't get to relate on this one. She won the election easily, so Natsuhi was praising her for the ceremony organized by the student council at the beginning of the cultural festival. Actually, she had just carried that out half-heartedly. She had immediately met up with her friends and had held a stage rehearsal for the rest of the time. The experience of standing above people and bearing responsibility will definitely be useful in the future. Yes, treat everyone beneath you. It will surely help you mature as a member of the Ushiromiya family.
ただ、挨拶が少し
But
早
you
口で
spoke
し
the
た。
greeting a little
内容
quickly.
は旧
You
大点で
passed
した
on
が、
content,
早
but
い
your
口調
fast
は
style
そ
of
れを
speech
薄れさせま
dilutes
す。
it.
一呼吸置く
It
癖
would
を
be
つけ
good
る
if
とい
you
いでしょう。
developed a habit of taking a breath every once in a while.
I'm ironically fucking up doing exactly what she's telling her daughter to do in the quote.
Yeah.
After she finished eating, Jessica didn't feel like going straight to her room. You could say that her room was the place where her parents had specified for her to be, so maybe you could say that for Jessica, choosing not to return to her own room and instead disappearing to an unknown location in this large mansion was a meager form of resistance. Uh-oh, she gonna go see the witch. She gonna go meet the witch. Jessica felt that even being in the mansion made it hard to breathe, so she went outside to the rose garden.
Well, even if she had come, she'd just have said something about how it wasn't appropriate for the successor to the Ushiromiya family anyway. So what the hell's my problem? Jessica laughed at what she was sulking over. Laughed at what kind of words she would have had to receive to be satisfied. Ridiculous. In the end, I'm just a spoiled kid. I can't believe myself. It's almost funny.
お嬢様
Milady. What? Kanon-kun? Don't scare me like that.
Oh, good. I needed an excuse to cough. Kanon had suddenly started talking to her just as she had tried to force a laugh, so she choked.
何
What?
なんかよ
Something to say? Yeah? Jessica's expression had become the one Kanon always saw. The listless Jessica from a second ago was gone. If he still only knew Jessica as the successor to the Ushiromiya family as he did until today, he would have mistakenly thought that Jessica's mood had sprung back to normal. But that was wrong. He now knew of a part of her that he could not see until today, so he understood that there was no way that on the inside Jessica was just as she appeared. About today's cultural festival. Well, thanks for coming with me so I could show off. That's such an interesting way of describing that. There's an interesting, we went to dinner with some of Bird's coworkers recently, and a few of them saw him drunk for the first time. And, they were like really blown away because it's like, this is not the type of, like, you know, the type of person he is drunk is not somebody they ever thought he like could be, you know? So it's like, well, I'll never quite see you exactly the same after this, you know? I feel like that's how he feels about seeing her perform. It's like, wow, I'll never look at you the same way now that I know that's in you.
助かったぜ
You really helped.
お歌
Your singing.
お上手でした
It was good. What? Really? I'm embarrassed. Even though she had heard the words she had most wanted to hear, Jessica became shy and couldn't accept them frankly.
僕には歌は
I
歌いま
cannot
せん
sing,
楽器も
and I don't know how to play any instruments other than the harmonica and the recorder, which I learned in elementary school.
だから
So I had just
お嬢
assumed that
様
you were
は
the
同じだ
same,
ろうと決め
Milady.
つけていました
Kanon hadn't been consciously looking down on Jessica to that degree, but people playing unique instruments were always on the other side of the brawn tubes inside the TV. Why'd they have to specify the, hey guys, I just played Steins Gate? He had got it into his head that it would be impossible for Jessica at least.
僕は家具だか
I am furniture,
ら歌を歌う
so
必
I
要
didn't believe there was any need to
楽
sing
器
or
を
play
扱う必要
instruments.
もない
But I'm not sure anymore.
カモン君
Kanon-kun, seriously, enough with that phrase, I am furniture.
使用人のこと
That's some kind of servant's mentality, right? Don't you know that if you have a... I'm sorry, I was gonna just get into
使用人の
political stuff.
家具であれ
That servants should be living furniture thing, some yay quotes. Genji says it a lot.
心得というだけ
It isn't a mentality. Yes, thank you,
で
Kanon.
本当に
We really are
家具です
furniture.
福音の家の子たちが
I know the kids from the gospel house receive assistance from grandfather in various ways. Is it me or did like the vocal mixing get fucked up? It's happened a couple times, but never for this many lines of dialogue in a
それに
row.
恩義を感じてるのも知ってるよ
And I realize you feel gratitude for that.
でもだからって
But that doesn't
家具
mean
なんて
you should call yourself
あんまりだぞ
furniture.
私たちは
Aren't you a human
同じ
like
人間
us?
じゃないかよカノン君は
Kanon-kun, when you saw me singing, what did you think?
とても楽しそうに見え
It
ま
looked
した
like you were having a lot of
そ
fun.
れは多分違う
That's probably not it. Huh?
楽しそうに見え
It wasn't that I looked like I was
羨
having
ましかっ
fun.
たんじゃない
You were jealous, weren't you?
そんなことは
Even Kanon himself probably hadn't noticed that emotion. Kanon had seen something he had never seen before, never known of before, and had probably become jealous. And to trick himself about that emotion, he had called himself furniture over and over.
私は
I know I'm the successor to the Ushiromiya family or something. And, well, I'm sure there'll be a lot of annoying stuff to do in the future,
そ
too.
れについては
As far as that goes, I've just got to resign myself to it. I was born under an unlucky star.
多分
Probably just like you had to live at the gospel house, neither of us have a choice. We couldn't choose the stars we were born under.
そうかもしれません
That may be true.
ただ
But there's one part where you and me are completely different. Know what that is? I am furniture and you are not.
He was about to say that, but
わ
stopped.
かりません。
I don't know.
カノン君は
Kanon-kun, you think that your own fate is everything about you, and you gave up.
私は
I can't accept this kind of fate, so I decided to do the best I can. So as well as my normal constrained self, who has to act as the daughter of the Ushiromiya family, I've created another self who pours all her heart into the things she likes.
Now we're starting to get somewhere. Starting to connect with her.
もう一人の
Another self.
Yeah. Kanon-kun, you've been telling yourself I am furniture. I'm sure there's been many tough things that have forced you to tell yourself that. I think that's really unfortunate. But for that to determine your entire life, that feels so sad to me. You know, people can always make another self inside themselves that they can really grow to like. This isn't escaping from reality, okay? When I'm that other part of myself, I can really feel like I'm living a great life. So no matter how constrained and boring everyday life is, I can definitely live without suffocating.
自分の中に
To
自
make
分が本当に好きに
Another
なれる
self that you
自
can
分を
really grow to
作る
like inside yourself. To make another me which isn't furniture. Through her relationship with George-sama, had Shannon given birth to a part of herself that isn't furniture? And did this other Shannon see something that cannot be seen by furniture?
Yeah. Well, I don't know anything about your private life, Kanon-kun, but I can sorta guess. Your private life is probably nothing at all.
Yeah, I mean, you see him at probably most of the times that he's not working.
Bullseye?
Kanon couldn't reply, but that was answer enough. He had no concept of a private life, so Kanon would always be Kanon. So furniture would always be furniture.
Kanon-kun, that Kanon isn't your real name, right?
The Gospel House gave new students new families and a new life, so it also made a point of giving each of them a new name. In his case, that was Kanon.
確かに
Certainly, that name of mine may be a temporary thing. He had thought that he wasn't anyone other than Kanon. But he remembered. There definitely had been a part of himself that wasn't Kanon. But that was far, far away, beyond the distant fog of oblivion. This is how I felt when I wrote Who the Fuck is Conrad?
So even for you, it should be alright to have times when you're Kanon-kun and times when you aren't. Maybe the Kanon-kun you are when you act as a servant calls himself furniture and strictly limits his own will. But when you aren't Kanon-kun, I think it's alright to live much, much more freely.
Those words definitely weren't just lip service. Jessica had also been like this in the past. She had cursed her own birth into an environment different from all of her friends at school. She had been the only one in a heavily constricted environment, forced to learn various things, and she had even received words about the friends she played with. Though she had been sad about that, she had given up, thinking that she had just been born under that kind of star. But one day, Jessica had stopped giving up and surrendering. Stuff like the Ushiromiya family customs and pressure, those didn't matter. She created a real Jessica inside herself who could do what she really wanted to do.
You know, I'm called by this nickname Jessie in school.
So is she trying to say that Jessie is her Saint Jimmy?
So when I'm Jessie, I live life honestly and to the fullest. St. Jimmy's coming down across the alleyway.
And because of that, I can do my best when I'm just... Sorry, I forgot to do the voice.
And because of that, I can do my best when I'm Jessica, too. Maybe you too could have times when you're Kanon, and times when you're,
Cat Williams.
your real name, and live a different way at each. When you aren't Kanon, can't you try being another self who you can grow to like?
僕が
When I
カノ
am
ンじゃ
not
ない
Kanon.
時
He had thought that his real name didn't matter at all. So he had thought Kanon was all he was. And now Jessica was saying that he should create a new existence, another self that wasn't Kanon.
Kanon-kun, if you don't mind, tell me, what's your real name?
He was silent for quite some time. Maybe his real name had risen to the tip of his tongue. After hesitating for a long time over whether he should say it, in the end, he swallowed it back down.
忘れました
I forgot.
僕の名前
My name doesn't matter anymore. Those words signified a slight rejection.
本当は
No matter what kind of real name I had, the only truth now is that here I am Kanon, Alright, well, fuck your original name. Let's make up a new one.
過去など何の
The
関係
past has nothing to do with
作ら
anything.
れた家具の
Just
材
as
料
it does not matter the name of
元は
the
何という木
tree
の
from
幹があ
whose
ったから
trunk a
で
piece of furniture was
どうでもい
originally
いこと
made.
と同じで
Huh.
す
I mean, it could. If you cut down some kind of sacred ass tree and make a chair out of it, it might be like a specially imbued chair or some shit.
だからよせって
I said stop
家具
that.
じゃないんです
You aren't furniture, you're human, you know.
僕は人間じゃない
Yeah, stop kidding furniture, goddammit. I am not human! Uh-oh. Somebody told a Tumblr user that they're not allowed to have their specific weird gender. Cunham clearly spoke his refusal. It was with a rage that he normally didn't show. Jessica couldn't say anything back and was struck silent.
お嬢様は人間です
You are human, milady.
だからど
So
んな
you
生
are
き方を
free
し
to
よう
live
と
any
自
way
由だ
that you like.
どんな未来も
And any kind of future is possible for you.
それはまるで
It's almost like you have wings and can dance through the sky
自
like
在
a
に空
bird.
を舞う鳥のよう
I only just noticed that he's wearing like a similar Tudor cap to the one that Tommy Oliver used to wear. Now I can't unsee it.
でも
But I am not like that.
僕がたとえ鳥に
Even
見え
if
た
you
と
see
して
me as a bird, I am nothing more than a domestic duck. Quack. Hey, nothing wrong with being a duck. Quack.
アヒルに翼はあって
They may have wings, but they cannot fly. And they also love rape. Ducks are not good people.
なのに空の夢を
To speak
語
of
るなん
that
て
dream of
そん
flight
なの
despite that,
残酷
that's
すぎる
just too cruel.
家具だのアヒルだの
Furniture, ducks. It's like a conservative dad getting mad at their furry kid. What the hell is all this? No. Jessica had unconsciously gone along with Kanon's forceful manner of speaking, but she realized she shouldn't fire back and swallowed her words. I don't know anything about you. I don't even know your upbringing, and I don't know the hardships you've been through. So I can't even imagine why you started calling yourself furniture. But know this, you aren't furniture or a duck. You're a real human. This is the greatest single image. Just the fact that Connor looks so fucking pissed off. Oh my god.
使用人としてのカノン君
If you want to say that the Kanon-kun working as a servant is furniture, that's alright. But in that case, don't you think you can make another self for when you aren't furniture, when you're human?
そんな可能性を
Only a
抱ける
human like you can embrace that
僕は
possibility.
そうじゃな
I
い
am not like that.
僕には未来
I have no
の可能性
future, no possibilities, and no dreams I am permitted to see.
だからお嬢
So,
様
milady,
それ以上
please
残
don't
酷なこと
say
を
any
言
more
わないでください
cruel things. Like I'm not a duck. Please stop saying I'm not a duck. It really hurts. Why? Why are you saying that?
お嬢様が僕のこと
Because it seems that you are
ご自
mistaking
分
me
と同
for
じ
a human
人
just
間だ
like
と
you,
勘違い
milady.
なされているようだから
You
です
clearly haven't seen Princess Tutu.
僕とお嬢様は
We are
違う
different
存在
beings.
それをはっき
I
り
just
申し上
wanted
げ
to
てお
make
きたか
that
ったん
clear.
ですシャノンに聞きました
I heard from Shannon
お嬢様は
something about you
僕
taking a
の
liking
気
to
に入り
me.
になられ
No. What?
僕は人間に
I
限りなく
look
近い
almost
姿をしています
identical to a human.
だから
Therefore, like Shannon, maybe I could delude myself that I am human and for a time pretend to love.
でも
But that would
それ
surely
は
be
自分を
fooling
騙してる
myself.
いえ
No, it would also be
お
fooling
嬢
you,
様を騙
milady.
すシャノンとジョージ
Shannon and George Sama will
必
definitely
ず
fall
破綻する
apart.
その日が欲しい
Shannon herself, damn
シャノ
fucking
ンだって理
bastard.
解しているだろうに
Shannon herself must understand that day will come, and yet she does this. Stupid.
There's nothing stupid about it.
そりゃ
Sure, George Nissan's a brilliant person and he's bearing both of his parents' expectations. And yeah, when it comes to marriage, I'm sure Auntie Ava's gonna interfere in a bunch of ways, and I think they've got a really tough road ahead of them, all right.
でもな
But you know, George Nissan isn't the kind of guy who will surrender to all that. He won't turn Shannon into Juliet. He'll definitely make her happy.
Well, I guess he didn't make her into Juliet last time because, Romeo and Juliet both died together. People in furniture cannot love one another. I am trying to say that even if you can love furniture, I cannot love you, milady. Those words of Kanon's crushed all of Jessica's bittersweet feelings from today. There was no way she could have anticipated the emotions of such a blunt rejection. In an instant, she lost the willpower that had caused her to try and unravel something stubborn in Kanon's heart. And before she knew it, she was just standing there in shock. Lady, if your feelings for me are due to my conceit, then I beg for your forgiveness.
No. Well, I won't deny it.
Thank you very much. Huh? For thinking of me as a human. Thank you very much. I'm not gonna lie. Some of the breakup letters that I wrote with internet people in my 14, 15-year-old era of dating in scare quotes. This is how they sounded. This is about how I would break up with people back then. Just those feelings truly make me happy. And anything more would be too painful, so...
No, that's enough. Sorry.
Jessica scratched at her head as she spoke and tried to force her voice to sound bright.
I just kinda ran on ahead by myself and caused you trouble. I'm honestly sorry. I'm really sorry for using up your whole day off.
No, I was also happy that I could see you having fun.
Then let's be done for the night. If I don't go back to my room and turn off the lights, Mom will get mad at me again.
She's gonna go fucking scream into her pillow all night long. That would probably be most appropriate. And he is gonna jack off and pass out. I wish you good night, milady.
Yeah, good night.
Jessica turned her back to him and slowly trotted away, looking disheartened. But suddenly she started dashing pell-mell. Pell-mell? Pell-mell? In a confused, rushed, or disorderly manner. Recklessly hasty or disorganized, headlong, a state of affairs or collection of things characterized by haste or confusion. So you have the French mesler, meaning to mix, led to the French pestle-messel or messel-pessel or pele-mele, which eventually became pell-mell. I've fucking never seen this before. Never in my entire life. It was translated by a group called Alchemists, and they did an amazing job. They clearly know their fucking words, but pell-mell? Good lord. As he watched her go, for just an instant, Kanon was tormented by the feeling that he had just made a huge mistake. But no, he thought, this had not been a mistake at all. It was for her sake that he'd been forced to refuse her now while her pain was still at its smallest. Nice going, making a woman cry like that. I didn't expect you to refuse her that strongly. Had you answered normally, another pair of lovers would have been born with my magic. How long have you been there? You're just horrible. I don't know, Canon, you kind of fucked that one. When he turned around, the witch was suddenly there. It looked like she had been there the whole time, enjoying their performance as if it were a play. I shall forgive your reckless words towards me just this once, in deference to that pleasant show. Even after 1,000 years, no more interesting show exists than complications between men and women. To me, it's an addictive pleasure sweeter than any other. They must not get, like, soap operas on Rokujiba. Like, does she not have access to television or something? Kanon pulled that butterfly brooch out of his pocket. It was the crystallization of the great magic that the witch had bestowed. Without hesitation, Kanon flung it hard onto the ground and stomped on it. Let's be real. The happiest ending of this game is like Maria and Beatrice just like get to hang out and watch TV and laugh at the television. Oh, what is the meaning of this when you know that was something given by me? Just now I figured it out. Oh yeah, my other theory about the transition is that Maria is actually just like already trans. Like Beatrice is Maria, but Maria is already trans. That's my other theory. Anyway. Just now I figured it out. What you are doing isn't as tasteful as being a cupid of love. You are just a demon who enjoys showing love to those who can never be joined in deceiving. You are free to think that. Most humans I have lent my power to have said the same thing. Don't play dumb. You didn't lend Shannon your power because you felt sorry for her. You took advantage of a weak point in Shannon's heart as it burned with love and made her break the mirror that sealed you. And that's not all. You're toying with her when you know very well how it's all going to end. Am I wrong? Furniture is a thoroughly pitiful existence. So you have no dreams, no future, and even no love? Good, good. There is nothing better than knowing your place. Just as you suspected, there was a faint love growing in Jessica's heart. You are under the impression that you have sniffed it out, harvested it. But did you know? Trees grow thicker branches if you thin them out instead of letting them grow rampant. A girl who loves furniture. Interesting, truly interesting. Hey, I've cried over getting rid of some couches before. Shannon and George will also eventually reach a stalemate with their unfulfillable love and will bear just the kind of large fruit I like. However, to my regret, they've been getting on so well that it isn't just isn't as interesting, you see. In that respect, I think you two shall entertain me greatly. This feels almost meta, like, you know, George and Shannon, we all love them, but they are boring. Y'all are clearly where the story's at right now, so let's jump over here. The witch laughed. Even though she had known that the two could not be joined, she had lent magic to join them together. However, they couldn't escape the fate that made it impossible for them to be joined. The witch knew that. Even if they were joined, I mean, the fact that Kanon's like a little too young for a relationship is probably the biggest hurdle here. Even if they were joined, the relationships of Shannon and George, Kanon and Jessica would fail for certain. Oh. All of them, huh? And as they wandered through the eternal desert in the hell of love, they would be tormented by eternal thirst. No! I don't want to be on Twitter even in death. Did you think that I would lend them that power without any compensation? I'll lend a hand in love. And my compensation shall be one ticket to watch the cruel fate that the two of them will eventually meet. Even after 1,000 years, no better show exists. Just look at Kinzo. See how he ended up, an old pitiful man who knew the taste of love and was thrown out of paradise. Look at how he lives like a dead man who can't fully die. Pot calling the kettle black. Bitch, you are a ghost. You really are a witch. Get out of my sight, you demon. She's a bitch and a ghost. Is it a ghost and a bitch? Whatever the line. I shall disappear regardless. My power still hasn't returned, you see. It is still tiring to continue showing myself. I overdid it when I gave you lovers my power. As I am now, it will not be easy to maintain that power without that brooch as a catalyst. Kanon ground his foot even more into the stomped brooch. He felt it break under his foot. Then it dissolved as if into water, and changed into butterflies that sparkled gold which fluttered away from beneath Kanon's foot.
I also find it a little difficult to continue preserving this form. As you ask, I will hide myself for a brief period. Just as there is no tide that does not rise and no moon that does not wax, my magical power will surely become whole again. And there will surely come a time that it is appropriate for my revival. I cannot imagine whether that will be tomorrow, next year, or even 100 or 1,000 years in the future. But as long as there are those that entertain me, I will surely gain power and revive. I will disappear for a short while until that time comes. The bruise on the palm of your hand is already gone, so if you wish tomorrow morning, you can let my existence disappear like an illusion or a dream. There is nothing more saddening for me than to be forgotten. However, I will definitely be revived. Make sure that you won't regret that day's coming at any time.
The English language really needs an equivalent, a better equivalent of daga. Like, it's like saying but, you know, or like, however, like, but it's so much more daga, you know, like dagger, like it's got that daga. You can just say it with so much force. I will surely have my second coming and control everything as this island's true master. And at that time, the door to the Golden Land will be opened again. I can't help but like do a little bit of like a Pegasus from Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, Yugi boy, don't you know that the door to the Golden Land will be opened again? Like, with her, I'm just doing it a little turned up, you know, like, the covetous and the greedy shall call me forth without fail. Enough. Disappear now, Golden Witch. Ogon no Majo. I didn't do it because you said it. Leaving behind a mocking laugh, the witch turned into a flight of gold butterflies and scattered away. The whole area sparkled like a gold blizzard in a snow globe. It was a fleeting, fantastical scene that disappeared in a heartbeat. Okay, so she's definitely not just being nice to Shannon, is what we got out of that. The witch could no longer be seen. However, Kanon felt like he could still hear that shrill, unpleasant laugh. Beatrice is the queen of being passive-aggressive. I think that's basically the whole game is... Beatrice is determined to lead a horse to water and force it to drink. Ah, how entertaining, how entertaining. Why is the human world so entertaining after such a long absence? Go insane with love, go insane with gold. Those that don't go insane from those are not human. I see, then the word furniture is fitting indeed. Furniture is created to serve humans, and I toy with and tyrannize those humans to ease my 1,000 years of boredom. What a truly entertaining rock, paper, scissors situation that I cannot control furniture. Kinzo, your enterprises are truly interesting. Furniture, try and see if you can hunt me. Okay, so her natural energy... So, witch defeats person. Person defeats furniture. Furniture defeats witch? Is this because witches are burned at the stake? And like, you know, they had to break down their furniture to, like, put together the little faggot piles or whatever to burn the witch with? Is that the logic here? Tonight, 2 seeds of love have been sown, including the one already sown. That makes 3. The one already sown. Oh, does she mean him? Beatrice! Why Did you leave me alone in this painful world? I detest you. You are yearned after this much and yet make no attempt to answer. I will detest you for all eternity. I don't know why I'm trying a different voice. Just I felt like doing like that old guy from Quasimodo. My lord, drinking any more will be damaging to your health. Haven't you also been warned by Dr. Nanjo? Be silent, Genji! You do not understand. You do not understand my grief and sadness. Even though I believed that as my oldest friend, at least you would understand my pain. Why is it so incomprehensible to you? Oh, Beatrice! Why did you leave me alone? What the hell is all that furniture stuff? I know, right? What is all that crap? At least he didn't say he was an attack helicopter or whatever. Oh, how heartrending, Jessica-sama. Even though her crying voice that I can hear from her room tells me of the situation, there is nothing I can do. This is all a tragedy due to people who are too young getting too close when the positions of their birth are too distant. Yeah, astute. I can do nothing but understand Milady's feelings and walk away quietly with silent feet. I love her. She's so, like, normal. She is the normie of the cast. Oh, the good outfit came back. I love her cute little fucking top hat. Here's what I think needs to happen. I think we need Mint Salad cosplaying Shannon while I'm cosplaying Beatrice. I guess Bird can be Battler or maybe even Kinzo would be funny. Riley can dress up as goddamn, who would he be good to dress up as in this game, if anybody? Oh, what's the other guy whose voice I do like this? Ellen, you want to be Ava? You could do Ava. Who else do I have that could fit a character in this game on hand to do a big group? I need the whole family. I need like 26 cosplayers.
What do you mean by that, George-san?
I mean what I said. I still haven't built up my castle. Once I have, I'll be able to think of myself as an adult for the first time. When that happens, I want to marry you.
That's, I already assumed as much.
But my heart won't let me do just that anymore. I have to impregnate you too. Give you an engagement ring.
Engagement? You say? But, I'm...
Furniture! That's right. And furniture has to listen to what people say. It's a fucking... And this is a different way that conversation could have gone. I am currently having a ring made that's worthy to be a gift for you. I think I'll probably be able to bring it to the family conference coming up soon. I'll give it to you then, so please, I want you to let me hear your answer. If you accept my engagement proposal... So wait, did this happen in the same universe previously? Are we to assume that she had known he was going to do that to the extent that he had said so, even in the last this isn't a totally different timeline, right? I truly, the game hasn't revealed this. Questions arc indeed. If you accept my engagement proposal, I will proclaim right there to all of the relatives, including grandfather, my engagement to you.
George-san.
I'm sure some people won't approve of our relationship, but there's no need to look at their faces, because you only have to fill your eyes with me. Damn. Well, that would piss off everyone really badly if you had her actually do that. I will definitely make you happy. That I promise you, definitely. Could you imagine the fucking power move if she just did not look at Ava the whole time and just stayed looking at him? No, I don't think. I look forward to seeing how it will ripen. The gold butterflies do not swoop upon the juice of overripe and rotting fruit. I cannot wait for the day of harvest to come. Is the time of the banquet here yet? Yeah, I gotta say, learning that George had told her beforehand that he was going to propose to her in no uncertain terms does rob some of the romance from that moment, especially knowing that he did it in such a way as telling her, you are furniture, so do what I say. All right. So basically, you already made up her mind for her. Not that I'm saying it that she didn't seem to like him, but okay. So now we're at now we're finally caught up to where the original story started. I guess. They had eaten breakfast at a coffee shop in the station building. By chance, the inside of the shop had been decorated with Halloween colors since it was October. It seemed that Maria had really taken a liking to that. Ever since, she had been making a fuss inside the train about wanting to have a Halloween festival without caring that she was attracting the attention of others. Halloween is popular in Europe and America, but people are hardly familiar with it at all in Japan in 1988 or whatever. 86. The shopping district was colorfully decorated with orange pumpkins, but the costume parades of children demanding sweets and saying trick or treat were nowhere in sight.
I want a Halloween festival. I don't want to wear these clothes. I want to look like a witch. The family conference isn't for playing. We're going to meet grandfather, so you have to dress up nice.
While it wasn't completely full inside the train, there were enough people here that almost all of the seats were occupied. Among them, Maria was making a fuss, kicking her feet back and forth in her seat, while Rosa scowled at her. Rosa had told her many times in a low voice to stop, but Maria was taking no notice whatsoever. Once Maria gets this way, no matter how much you try to explain the situation or calm her, she doesn't listen. In the past, Rosa used to pamper Maria and give in to her at times like this, but that had probably been the problem. Almost certainly, the young Maria had formed the wrong impression that if she kept complaining noisily, her mother would give in and listen to her. It's true, you can't, don't raise a brat, people. That error had been brought to Rosa's attention through an educational book, and since then, she had hardened her heart. Should have read those books when she was a fucking baby, goddammit. So as not to pamper her beloved daughter. Maybe they were new. Maybe this is 80s Japan, so maybe they didn't have the literature when she was a little kid. But Rosa could manage less and less mutual understanding with Maria, and it had become more and more common that she felt discouraged by her own powerlessness.
Halloween! Trick or treat! Woo, woo, woo! I'm not giving you any sweets. You just ate breakfast. Trick or treat! Trick or treat! Woo, woo, ah!
As Maria kicked her feet, a stout old woman sitting in the seat across from Maria picked a candy out of her handbag and gave it to her.
Got a treat!
See, sometimes this is how the secret works, right? You just ask the universe loudly enough and it will deliver. A lot of people make the mistake of not shouting what they want out loud in public. But that makes it a lot easier.
Look, Mama! Happy Halloween!
Maria, you can't just accept sweets from strangers, remember? Return it.
It's alright. Oh, she's a lovely young lady. How old is she?
Too old. There may not have been any malice in those words from the old woman, but it seemed that Rosa had taken that in an extremely humiliating way. Maria, I'm always telling you not to accept sweets from strangers.
This one's mine. No, it's mine.
Let go of it. Don't I always tell you to listen to what Mama says?
It's mine.
I told you stop making that childish whining noise. Rosa reflexively hit Maria violently on her cheek. In a flash, Maria started crying loudly. Rosa immediately snatched the candy from Maria's hand and stuck it out, literally taking candy from a baby. It stuck it out towards the dumbfounded old woman sitting next to them. Please do not just give sweets to my daughter.
I'm very sorry. I didn't know you were the biggest cunt of all time. Carry on.
Breathing heavily, Rosa once again held the candy out to the old woman. The woman looked confused for a moment about what she should say, but then understood that perhaps her actions may have caused trouble for this parented child, and she accepted the candy back, apologizing. No, it's not you. You didn't cause none of this trouble. Oh, do you feel bad you smacked your little girl again, you fucking bitch? Then Rosa finally took notice of her surroundings. Her daughter's clothes were all messed up, she was crying and shouting with her nose dripping, and there were many dumbfounded passengers watching them. Except for the sound of the train running, the rail car was completely silent. Yes, you've come back to reality and remembered that you are now looking like an insane person. Fortunately, that pitiful silence didn't last more than a short while. However, in its place came an even more painful atmosphere as everyone whispered. Maria shouted, cried, kicked, and stomped her feet as usual, paying no heed to the people sitting around her. Impulsively, Rosa tried to slap her again. Get a fucking napkin and get all the snot off her fucking face. Sorry, I'm screaming at the bad parent in the video game. Impulsively, Rosa tried to slap her again, but she noticed the cold eyes of the people in the train and couldn't do that anymore. When the train stopped, Rosa got off, forcibly putting Maria by the arm and almost dragging her along the ground. As usual, Maria didn't stop crying. Would you? Rosa took her to the end of the platform and hit her cheek again. It's like, why are you crying? Why are you crying? Well, the pain keeps getting worse. That doesn't help. Eventually, maybe she can beat her into shock and then she'll shut up. Or maybe unconscious. Didn't she knock her literally unconscious earlier? And then, left her there? At the moment she was hit, Maria stopped crying for an instant, but before long she shouted and cried even more than before. Rosa, whose emotions had exploded, grabbed Maria by her collar and pulled her hair as if to rip it. Jesus fucking Christ. Can't you hear me? I'm telling you to shut up! That of yours! I'm telling you to stop it! That's the reason you can't make friends in class, don't you get it? Get a hold of yourself! Why are you always a kindergartner inside of your head? Why can't you do what Mama says? Actually, she's a witch inside of her head. She's a kindergartner because she won't acknowledge when she's a witch. Why? Why? I just told you. I figured it out. Why can't you figure it out? Along with those severe words, Rosa hit Maria's head over and over again. The more Maria cried and shouted, the more Rosa hit her. And the more Maria was hit, the more intensely she cried and shouted.
Mama, it hurts. Mama, it hurts. Mama, save me. Mama, save me.
If I knew a kid was getting hit like this, I would be impressed that they can speak. much less to speak like a kindergartner. I'd be like, your mom hits you like that? I would never say anything to anyone. I would probably walk into a lake and die or something if my mom treated me this way when I was growing up. Why can't you just stop that whining? It's because you're like this that you can't make friends. It's because you're like this that Papa never comes back from his business trip. It's because you're like this that I... Excuse me, madam, is something the matter? Any random person who would see this behavior. Remember how episode 1 opened with Battler going, Aunt Rose is the most normal, gentle one. Yeah, well, you know. He didn't see all this. He hadn't seen her in like 7 years. Is there something that you want? Oh, you don't want to get too close to a Karen atom bomb. The one who timidly called to her was the station attendant. Rosa glared at him with a look that said, don't cut into the problems of a mother and child, stranger. The station attendant surely hadn't wanted to talk to her. However, Rosa had been yelling on the platform for a much longer time than she had imagined. Her emotional scolding had caused the passengers on the platform to advise the station attendant that it would be a good idea to speak to her. Rosa yelled at the station attendant that they would get on the next train and not to bother them anymore. And then finally, or maybe we should say for the second time, she noticed the passengers on the platform staring at her from the distance. Rosa sweated slightly. She felt the wind chill the sweat tormenting her. Man, I want to know what the fuck happened to Ryukishi 07 or someone around him, or if it wasn't him, he must have seen some shit, man. He must have had like an aunt who was just laying in on one of his cousins or something. Because good lord, like, it's so real. Just the level of her like going into these violent manias and like making everyone uncomfortable. He was a social worker for 10 years. Oh, yeah. I keep forgetting y'all told me that. Yeah, yeah, that makes perfect sense. That would all get decompressed into this. I don't think I could do that job. I don't think I could do that for 10 years. I don't think I could do... I'm having this much trouble in a fictional video game watching this woman with her child. I don't think I could handle the emotions of having to deal with, which sucks because that means I'm even more useless than if I could deal with those emotions. In terms of being helpful to children, I kind of look at it like, look, I'm sorry to say, but you got to make it. You just have to live to 18 before you can start being influenced by me. It's just the rules. It's just the breaks. There's nothing I can do. There's other people can worry about all the child abuse and teen suicides and shit. My only advice to young people is live until you're 18 and you can be influenced by cooler things, I guess. Legally. Jesus Christ. Okay, anyway, Maria was still crying, shielding her own head. No, unless this beating stopped, she would probably keep crying forever. I mean, yeah. I've done it again. She always talks about it in such cutesy little terms. Oops, I did it again. I beat up my kid. I smashed up her face. Oh, baby, baby, I'm a terrible mom. I beat on my child. I'm child abuse. This fucking game. As Rosa recovered from the evil heat inside her head, she knew she had surrendered her soul to something bad again. That's a way of putting it. It's the devil done got in her. Mama, come back! What if she literally is like being possessed by a demon, though? There are demons in this, right? Rosa fell to her knees and hugged Maria, whose face was all soggy with tears and mucus. It's gonna be like Devilman, where everything, like humans that haven't caused any problems, it was all just demons manipulating them.
Maria, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh. You just wish there was literally anybody else there to comfort her other than the one who just beat the fucking piss out of her, you know?
Mama. Welcome back. Welcome back.
It's the same bitch. Finally, Maria realized that her mother had turned back to being her mother. Same bitch. Then she clung to her mother's body and cried, burying her face in her mother's chest. Forgive your bad mama. Don't. Forgive your bad mama. Don't do that.
I'm so sorry. Please don't hate your mama. I'm perfectly fine.
No, you. Oh, wow. Brave.
Won't hate Mama. Mama was just being possessed by an evil witch again.
That is potentially true.
But Mama came back, so it's okay. Yeah. Mama was being possessed by an evil witch again. I'm really sorry.
For a long time, the two of them hugged each other, asking for forgiveness and sending words of forgiveness back. After a while, the two of them gradually calmed down and naturally drew their faces apart. Maria's face, Rosa's face, both were deep red after crying their eyes out.
Do you want to have a Halloween festival, Maria?
You know she does!
Yeah. I wanted to show the pumpkin marshmallows to George and Lucha and Jessica and Nature.
That was a sweet which had been alongside of the cash register at the shop where they had eaten breakfast. It was a fancy sweet that had a big orange marshmallow in the shape of a jack-o'-lantern stuck on the end of a stick. Maria had wanted that and had insistently pestered for it. Rosa had disallowed it, saying that there was no way she would buy such a sweet right after they'd had a breakfast.
Okay then, Maria. I don't know if they'll sell these in town or not, but let's get off and try searching for one, okay? Yeah. Love you, Mama. Love you so much. Thank you. I love you too, Maria.
The truth was that they had no time to waste loitering around at a stopover station. If they missed the airplane, they would fall half a day behind schedule. She should have left home with more time to spare, but she had ended up leaving late after spending too long choosing Maria's clothes. Because of that, Rosa had been a bit impatient since the morning. She looked at the clock. They should be getting on the next train immediately. But her daughter had firmly joined hands with her to go buy the sweet together, and that hand was warm. To Rosa right now, it was more important to regrow her bonds with Maria. Bitch. Maria was not only Rosa's beloved daughter, she was everything Rosa had. Fortunately, she could see that there was a big supermarket right in front of the station. Maybe she wouldn't be able to find a sweet exactly like that one, but Maria would probably accept something similar. Besides, Rosa also couldn't show up with a face swelled from crying. She would have to fix her makeup. We might not find a marshmallow exactly like that one, but I hope we can find a sweet that's similar. And let's surprise all your cousins with it.
Yeah, if it's a sweet I bought together with Mama, anything is fine.
The two left the turnstiles at the station in this unknown town. Maria walked across the pedestrian crossing together with her mother, feeling very pleased as though she was walking in an amusement park. Both faces were still deep red, but warmth could be seen between the two of them, mother and child, as they smiled at each other awkwardly. Huh.
Dear, what are you doing in a place like this?
Oh, it's you. It's nothing. It's just that this was a pleasant place to think.
I have finished all the preparations for today. For now, we shall relax and wait while drinking some tea.
Sorry. I'm always pushing all my problems on you.
どうか
Please,
私をもっと
can't you rely on me
頼
more?
ってはいて私はあなた
I
の
am
妻
your
です
wife.
Naturally, I'm grateful for you always coming to my aid. For that very reason, I am able to devote myself to my work.
分かっています
I understand that
お仕事のこと
about your work
そして
and the topic
お
of
父様
father's
の遺産の
inheritance,
話
right?
That has nothing to do with you. It's nothing more than my greedy siblings scavenging for rotten meat.
大丈夫です
It's all right, dear.
すべてうまくいき
Everything
ま
will
す
work out.
あなたのお仕
Your
事が
work has never
うまくい
once
かな
turned
かっ
out
たことはあ
badly.
りません
Natsuki softly cuddled closer to Krause's shoulder. Hey, it's their turn to be cute. Maybe they'll die first this time. She spoke words to reward Krause for the difficulties of his work, but Natsuki was herself the one who knew best that it wasn't going well. Krause's enterprises were something like a seesaw where large amounts of money swung. A big investment leads to a large return, but the swaying of a large-scale seesaw is large yet sluggish and not something which shows immediate results. At times, he would make more investments so that the seesaw inclined faster towards the good side. Naturally, he did that because he had the confidence that in a not-so-distant future he would be able to recover all the investments made. However, the seesaws Krause chose never turned out as he would have liked them to. Yeah, I relate to this. His foresight wasn't wrong, but times were slow. Yeah. That's where I feel like I've been at for a little while. They never caught up with him. For example, think of a literal seesaw placed in a park. Due to its great popularity, there was always someone playing on it, so if he wanted to play, he would have to wait a long time for his turn. And then one day he found that seesaw vacant, straddled it, realizing he was first to arrive, and had it all to himself. However, nobody got on the opposite side of the seesaw, so he couldn't play on it. This is how I feel about most of what I do. I show up to a seesaw and I go, oh, dude, there's a fucking sick seesaw here. And then I sit on the seesaw and wait, and nobody shows up. And then I even call people up and I tell them, did you know there was a seesaw here? And they're like, I don't know if I want to go all the way there for a seesaw. Because the magic is that you found it. You were already just there looking anyway. It's like nobody wants to go out of their way to go fucking find some to go ride a seesaw with you that you already found. The magic is that you found the seesaw yourself. So if you and somebody else find a seesaw together, that's where you really get to be like, oh shit, we found this seesaw. I think that's why the people like my request streams. It's like we're all finding a seesaw together and riding the seesaw. But we need better seesaws. Okay, and this metaphor has officially become tortured even beyond the realm of the Golden Witch. And no matter how much time passed, nobody came to the opposite side of the seesaw. The seesaw is a popular piece of playground equipment, so if you waited, another person would definitely show up. Unless you got it really hard to find. Krause noticed the weather looked like it was getting worse. That's why nobody was coming outside to play. As with this metaphor, what I'm imagining is, I don't know how many of you remember this, one of the like really early morning streams I did at some time. I had a title that was like gamblers versus thrifters and the thrifter and the gambler or something like that. And it was in like this weird little park I had discovered that like I knew nobody would possibly be showing up that day, so I just streamed there for like 3 hours. And it felt like I was in a weird little like liminal space, like a sort of a pocket dimension or reality marble. Anyway, if he vacated his place because the weather seemed to be getting worse, someone would definitely snatch his place away, and he would end up only longingly gazing from a distance as someone else having fun playing on the seesaw again. On one side of the seesaw, he continued to wait patiently all alone. That was Krause's current enterprise and situation. If only I'd had a bit more courage and the self-confidence to believe in my own foresight, I'd never once have failed. Yeah, I also feel that.
Yes, that's true. Your foresight is never wrong. You are the only one who inherited Father's gift. You inherited an innate disposition that none of the other siblings did.
Yet I was unable to believe in it. I always closed my own projects like a coward. Why can't I trust myself? Who would trust a man who can't trust himself? Nobody! I'm always sitting myself down in the seat where the losers must sit. My father, my mother, and my siblings, all of them sneer at me. How long before I am set free of this complex? How long? Only Natsu knew death. She knew of Krause's anguish. As the eldest son of the Ushiromiya family, who would have to shoulder a big responsibility, he couldn't open his pained heart to anyone, and would always be compared to his father's great enterprises.
I
I have finished all the preparations, so you can devote yourself to the family conference. All of them.
Sorry. I do believe Reality Marble is in fact a type moon thing. I don't know if it's used outside of that as a phrase, but it's my favorite phrase to describe like a cordoned off space, like in Haruhi when they have the fight in the classroom and she says like usually they just say like we put a barrier around it in anime, like in X 1999, where it'll just be like, okay, there's like a big bubble and whatever's in this bubble, the real world's not affected by it unless the bubble crashes, in which case everything that happened in the bubble is real and all that damage gets done, you know? There's a few things that have used that. Anyway. Sorry. Will there be any problems with father?
No. Genji and Dr. Nanjo are on our side. I'll never allow those greedy siblings to meet father.
I'll never allow those greedy siblings to meet father. So it sounds like they had been scheming the whole time to not have Kinzo ever attend this dinner. This already changes a lot of how we understand Chapter 1. If this is all the same... That might be the biggest plot twist so far. In terms of something that changes, like, the game so far. That they were deliberately playing keep away with him. Because that's the kind of thing that makes me want to go back through Chapter 1 and, like, reread all their interactions, thinking, like, okay, let me read this knowing they're keeping him away, you know? It's not as surprising to think that he was doing that, Krause was doing that, as it is with Natsuhi. Because... I don't know. I don't know if that's what all the headaches were about or what. Like, I don't know what's the obvious tell, you know, if you go back. But she did a hell of a performance. If she was just trying to trick everybody into thinking she was trying to get Daddy to come to dinner, you know. It feels like a really substantial reveal. Hello, Goda here. Is he speaking to me? Yes, please, leave it to me. I'm anxious to put my skills to work for the big annual job. Ingredients of various colors had been gathered in the kitchen, and the preliminary arrangements had already been started. Even though it was still morning, the ingredients for dinner were already in saucepans and steaming. Normally, he had to deal with several assorted matters other than cooking, but on the day of the family conference, he could devote himself to it entirely. To Goda, who was originally a chef, this was surely the greatest gala occasion of the whole year. Yes, dinner will be an excellent calf steak. Ooh. The wonderful cut of meat is already in the refrigerator, anxiously waiting for tonight. I feel like there's something meaningful to it being like a child cow. Please let the other servants know to look forward to tonight. I will not disappoint them either. It was rare for Goda to be in this good of a mood towards his fellow servants. To Goda, who boasted about being a chef who worked exclusively for the Ushiromiya family, being given the right to show off his cooking at the family conference was the greatest honor. Okay. I'm leaving it in your hands. Also, is Kumasawa there? Kumasawa-san? I happened to see her earlier, but she is not here. I wonder if she went to make preparations at the guest house. So she's loafing around again. No, that's fine. Alright then, I'm counting on you. Yes, leave everything to me. Genji placed the telephone back on the receiver, sighing lightly. Thinking of Kumasawa, who was no doubt hiding and slacking off, even though things were this busy, and the ostentatious Goda, who only felt like doing anything on a day when he could show off, Genji sighed once again. Oh my god, I love when they do these poses so much. It's just so fucking adorable. Especially Shannon with her eyes closed, looking all like fucking... like a borderline. With Kanon, he looks like he's almost doing a what's the fucking fist? The stupid ass like Attack on Titan fist fucking thing. This is it like this. Yeah, he looks like he's doing it, but he's got his own. It's like some weird ass open up hand. His hands like up, open hand salute thing. Anyway.
Excuse me, all the rooms in the guest house have been prepared.
We received instructions from a lady to make preparations for 4 people so that the children can stay there. What shall we do?
I hear Battler-sama is coming this year for the first time in 6 years. I guess Milady wants to stay up late with the other 3 cousins. Get them ready. No need to tell Madam.
I see. Certainly.
So tonight we'll have the late night shift followed immediately by the morning shift tomorrow. It looks like these 2 days will be tiresome.
Speaking of that, the weather forecast is saying a typhoon will strike right over here. Will that be alright?
No.
Unless the typhoon diverts greatly, it may affect the family's boat trip back, depending on circumstances. The family conference schedule may drag on until about Monday or Tuesday.
They couldn't have fucking rescheduled this shit.
It will probably be a long haul, but I ask you both to be careful not to make any blunders. Shannon, relax and don't panic. Kanon, be sure to greet them with courtesy.
Yes. I'll be careful.
I'll be careful.
Today we will be entertaining a very important guest. Make extra sure that everything goes smoothly.
I understand fully. Any guest who visits here is important.
Kanon, we welcome today an important guest in the truest sense.
Beatrice.
Make sure you're prepared.
Yes.
Shannon, what's wrong? You've been looking restless. Did you promise to be somewhere?
Huh? No, it's nothing. My apologies.
Nisan, an important guest will be arriving today. Detach yourself from your private life.
I don't know what you mean by private life.
As Shannon blushed just a bit, she turned her gaze away from the clock. Was it about time for the airplane carrying the family to arrive at Mejijima? She had thought that she had been hiding the fact that her long-awaited reunion with George was making her heart palpitate, but Kanon, who stood at her side, understood her perfectly. Ellen said, "Fun fact, because of Umineko, I did that pose for a class picture. People complained it looked like I was about to bonk the girl in front of me." That's unfortunate. Shannon, please accept this from me without a word. Inside a bathroom stall, George was practicing something over and over, taking out a small velvet box hidden in his pocket like a quick-draw desert gunman. That's not it. Shannon likes a man with traction. Traction? Like ribbed for her pleasure? Like, what do you mean by... It must have a more powerful feel to it. Shannon, put this on your finger, on your ring finger. That's an order, okay? No, if I don't say it properly that it's on the left hand, maybe she'll put it on the right hand. Wow, he really... Bruh. No, Shannon isn't that ignorant. But if there's no free will, that'd be a little... I mean...
As he crossed his arms, moaning and groaning, someone knocked on the door. I like how he's worried about whether or not the phrasing leaves her with any willpower in the situation and not the fact that his family literally owns her life. George was startled back to reality. Hey, George-kun. You alright? Here's a voice I haven't done in a fucking while. Got a stomach ache or something? Uncle Rudolph. It's alright, I'm fine. No need to worry. You sure? Okay then. Don't strain too much. Your ass will burst. He's talking about prolapsing his anus. Rudolph is warning George not to prolapse his anus by shitting too hard right now. What a way to introduce himself back into the game. I love this guy. Rudolph washed his hands, laughing cheerfully, and left. George knew that the most embarrassing part hadn't been overheard, and he patted his chest in relief. Kyrie, isn't Rosa here yet? Another voice I was hoping I wouldn't be doing tonight. Rest in peace, Atsuko Tanaka.
Not yet. She's pretty late.
It's a good thing the weather's delaying our flight. If the schedule had been like normal, she'd have missed the plane by now. What would she have done then?
Rosa-san is an adult now.
Well, she certainly doesn't fucking act like one.
She'd manage it somehow. No matter how old they get, older brothers always treat their younger sisters like children.
Dad's always a kid, no matter how old he gets. What'd you say? If I'm a kid, that made you a baby. Come on, Battler-chan, up you go.
Stop it, that tickles. Stop! You two look more like a couple of naughty kids than a father and son. Look, she's here.
Whoa! If it isn't Rosa-san. Maria-chan, long time no see.
Maria, shouldn't that be it's good to see you again? Greet your uncle properly. She just said what he said, right? It's good to see you again.
There you go. Well said. How about some candy as a reward? Oh, where'd I put them?
Rosa-san, it's good to see you again. It's good to see you too, Maria-chan. It's been too long, Kirie-san, Hideyoshi-san. And, oh my, Battler-kun. Look how big you've gotten.
Ah, come on. We definitely saw this scene in the first chapter, right? It's embarrassing hearing that from every person I meet. Hey, Rosa. You're late. If the plane was on time, you'd barely have made it.
I'm sorry. We had some trouble making our train connection. So we're...
Had some trouble making our train connection, i.e. I was too busy beating my fucking child on the platform to make the second train. Holy moly.
So we're waiting on the weather yet again? Oh, don't complain. I much prefer the 30-minute plane trip to spending 6 hours bouncing about on a boat. Even if we are kept waiting here for an hour, it's still much faster overall.
Is that Maria? She sure has gotten big. She's at that growing age.
You last met her 6 years ago? Of course she'd change. Women are creatures who can be born anew in a single day, and all it takes is a change of heart.
God, I hope that happens to you, Rosa. You desperately need to be born anew in a single day. Maria noticed a big man who she didn't remember mixed among the relatives and hid behind Rosa's back, glaring at Battler. Hey, Battler, say hi. The last time you met her, she was just 3 years old, so this might as well be the first time. Yeah, I guess she wouldn't remember if she was 3. Hey, Maria, long time no see. You sure have gotten big.
Maria, this is Battler Oni-chan, Uncle Rudolph's son. Understand?
Uncle's son is... Uncle's the son...
She was obviously on her guard. She must have found it frightening for a large guy like Battler to suddenly start speaking frankly to her. Battler noticed that as well and thought of various ways he might approach her. Then he noticed the sweet she had in her hand. It was the jack-o'-lantern sweet that Rosa had bought for her. Is this actually transpiring the same way as it did the first time or not? Is this different? Did she always have a jack-o'-lantern sweet? Oh right, it's October, so that must be for Halloween. Trick or treat! If you try to take a treat away from a small child, normally you'd expect them to cry and start a fuss. The adults thought that method wasn't good, but surprisingly Maria looked pleased, her face splitting into a wide grin.
Halloween! See, Mama Battler knows about Halloween too, see?
Hey, call him Battler Oni-chan. Sorry, Battler-kun.
No, I don't care. Call me Battler. And I'll call you Maria too. Come on, Maria, it's Halloween. I'm gonna give you so many habits that your mom's gonna fucking hate. Trick or treat!
Trick or treat!
From inside her handbag, Maria picked out a jack-o'-lantern sweet identical to the one she had in her hand and presented it to Battler. It seemed that Battler accepting it was enough to confirm their friendship. The adults felt admiration at how children have their own ways of communicating. To Maria, who had been complaining that she wanted to have a Halloween festival, it must have felt like Battler was a friend since he knew about trick-or-treat. Her defensive posture from before was completely gone. Now she was all merry, as though they had been friends for decades. That's the new type Flash. It's when you meet somebody and the first thing that you say to them makes you immediately realize that you must have enough in common to be friends from that point forward. That's the new type Flash. Yeah, Halloween's a minor event in Japan, isn't it? You often see people parading around in costume on the news over there, but I've never seen it in Japan.
I wanted to wear a costume too. Wanted to do trick or treat with all the cousins wearing costumes.
Yeah, I bet you did. Let us two do it together sometimes. What would you want to go around as? I'm sorry, I stumbled over him saying the phrase, let us two do it together sometime. It was just phrasing, please.
A witch! Beatrice!
Me too, Maria. Actually, Bird was just asking me what I want to be for Halloween. I gotta get myself... There's gotta be a pretty good Beatrice cosplay you can just buy, right? Oh, milady, what are you doing in such a place? Madam was looking for you.
I'm here because I don't want to be found. I bet she only wants to nag at me anyway, all that crap like, is your appearance alright? And mind how you speak.
Oh, without a doubt.
You know, when the day of the family conference comes, for some reason I start getting weird feelings about this witch.
Oh, why ever do you say that?
The family conference is the day when everyone related to grandfather gathers. Like, I hear Battler's coming for the first time in 6 years this year. Same kind of thing. I always wonder whether some relative who hasn't shown themselves for several decades might suddenly turn up.
Or relative, or maybe Beatrice is a secret relative that hasn't turned up in a really long time.
Maybe they're all descended from her. Maybe she's like Kinzo's grandma or some shit. Great. Anyway.
Oh, could a relative like that exist?
Oh, I know there's, at the very least, the anime ends with like the introduction of the last important character. Like of the the forgotten family member nobody's been talking about, sort of thing. So I know that's going to happen in one of these chapters. But I assume that's who they're talking about. Not so much Beatrice, but the other family member who will eventually just show up.
ベアトリーチェ様だよ。
I'm talking about that Beatrice-sama.
Okay, well, she's talking about Beatrice.
素性は誰も
Nobody knows her
あるいは
background. Could she be grandfather's mistress from long ago?
その子孫がひょっ
Maybe
と
one of her
現れて
descendants will suddenly show up and tell us to give back the gold we were granted or something, you know? Kraus-sama and the others will probably have a discussion about the problem of the master's inheritance this year too. With such excitement abound over talk of the witch's gold, I don't suppose it would be strange at all if the witch herself who granted that gold finally made her appearance.
熊沢さんはさ
Kumasao-san, you know, sure, you're always quitting one moment and working the next, but you've been here as long as Genji-san, right?
ベアトリーチェの
You know more about Beatrice, don't you? Well, I wonder. Oh, even if I try to remember, this old woman here can't even recall what she had for breakfast this morning.
熊沢さんはいつも
Kumasao-san, you're always escaping with those excuses, but you know something, right? Sometimes I feel a kind of devious atmosphere about you, like you know something and you're laughing behind our backs. Oh, how harsh. I don't have any secrets. The only thing I can say is that Beatrice-sama is the Golden Witch and that she is the other master who controls the night of this island.
じいさまの受け売りかよ
That's secondhand talk from grandfather. Even though you get paid, it must be a pain to go along with grandfather's tales. But I can say this much. See, she did the daga thing again. We need something like that in English. Daga. What? In ancient times, Rokkenjima was feared and called Azukijima, Azuki Bean Island. Okay. Azukijima. The story told among the fishermen is that Azuki was a mispronounced form of Akujiki, and in fact it was called Akujikijima, or Evil Appetite Island. Uh-oh, Vor. It's a Vor island.
前にも聞いたよ
I've heard this before. It's that story about how, because of all the sunken rocks and shipwrecks around here, the fishermen got afraid and stayed away as much as they could, right? Is that why all the gold? Is it just... Oh, I get it. This is a sequel to Ninja Scroll. At the end of Ninja Scroll, when the boat with all the gold goes into the ocean, she just got all the gold out of the ocean from Ninja Scroll and gave it to Kinzo. Ninja Scroll is in theaters for the next few nights, by the way. They actually started tonight, but I couldn't do it because we're doing Umineko tonight. But I would like to see Ninja Scroll in theaters the next few days if I can. Anyway, evil spirits had settled down in Akujikijima, devouring human souls from time immemorial. There were all too many people who got involved with this island and were dispossessed of their lives.
それを旅の修験者だかなんだかが
And it all settled down when a traveling mountain ascetic or someone built that shrine and laid these souls to rest, right? What a shady story. They say that shrine was destroyed by an eerie violet thunderbolt this summer. Which tore through the darkness of the night. An eerie violet thunderbolt.
熊沢さんその話好きだな
Kumasao-san, you really like those stories, don't you? Sure, it'd be pretty creepy if a thunderbolt wiped out the shrine, keeping the dead at peace. But, well, it was all worn out from the start. I bet it just got carried away by some large wave. Nah, it was that light from Boogie Pop. The evil spirits of Akujikijima wake up from their sleep and summon Beatrice-sama. So if Beatrice-sama ever happened to come for the family conference, then... Kumasawa kept silent for a moment there. Jessica, who wanted her to keep going, found that silence very eerie. Once Kumasawa was satisfied that she had spooked Jessica just the right amount, she grinned broadly. Well, now I wonder what would happen. Oh! Fucking troll.
Hey, そいつは素敵じゃないかよ。
All right, I think we're gonna do one more scene, and we're gonna hang it up for the night. Whoa, that sounds wonderful.
It does, doesn't it? Isn't it useful for your work to enrich your heart and have an elegant time every once in a while?
I think so. The heart and the wallet must be rich. Got it. I'll keep that day open. Please make the reservations.
Will do. No backing out.
Yeah, let's make it happen. I love you, Kyrie. After kissing the receiver, Rudolph hung up. In front of his seat, there were many executives with their sleeves rolled up, eagerly awaiting the end of that phone call. Sorry about the wait. Have we had contact from America? Yes. It's from our lawyer, Dale Watanabe. Dale Watanabe? He's not a part of their family? On the external line. I'll transfer it. Overall, how do you feel about the situation? Well, I'm afraid it seems it is not all that favorable. It seems they have no plans of withdrawing from the trial. Looks like we can't fool them after all. Please transfer it here. Very well. Right away. The executive ordered the secretarial office to connect him to the external line. Immediately, the telephone in front of Rudolph started ringing. Hello? Hello. Apologies for the wait. Lemia speaking. Good day. How is it going over there? Hello, President Dushiramia. Let's skip the greetings and get right down to business. I have good news and bad news. Which one shall we start with? The bad news can go first. I can't fight if there's no desert. Dessert? I can't fight if there's no dessert. Very well. The bad news is that they have started preparing to prosecute us. Just a few days ago, a verdict was handed down in a similar trial, overwhelmingly in favor of the plaintiff. The defendants were also making roughly the same arguments as us, but they were rejected in everything. I'm afraid to say it, but if we face the courtroom as we are now, the probability that our argument will be rejected in its entirety is extremely high. Oof. So that other trial was a disaster, and I was thinking their conditions were more favorable than ours. That's tough. Then what about the good news? I managed to get in contact with their executives. I explained our situation to them, explained that we have no intention of tarnishing their brand image, and I managed to get their understanding. They will offer us conditions in a few days, and if these are carried out, they promise to withdraw from the prosecution. This comes straight from the number 2 man on their board of directors. Your impression? Honestly, I expect the conditions to be extremely severe. I would assume that changing the company name and the brand name will be inevitable. Where we do have margin in the negotiations is the amount of settlement money, the appearance of a public apology in a major newspaper, and the amount of time needed to carry out those things. Why don't they just come straight out with it and tell us to go bankrupt? They changed to their second president only a couple of years ago, and the new president doesn't have a firm foothold on the position yet. If we resist until the bitter end, they fear that the forces who want to go against the current president wouldn't hesitate to do some work in favor of the enemy. Hence, it seems the big shots over there want to settle this matter as fast as possible, too. Therefore, for the sake of a quick settlement, we may still have enough leeway to pull for some mitigation of the conditions. At any rate, an absurd amount of money will be necessary, I guess. And that sounds like life and capitalism. You need to be prepared for that. And even so, I believe it will be much cheaper than disciplinary compensation. Thank you very much. If there's any more progress, please contact me. You bill highly, so I can't even chat around idly with you. Thank you. Goodbye. Rudolph hung up the phone. It seemed that the executives sitting in the reception seats could guess what had been said. You get all that, you reprobates? Well, to sum up, if we could just pay them off, they're going to let it slide. All we have to do now is turn our focus on to how much. But, President, the sum that Mr. Watanabe estimated for the settlement is too much. We don't have that much of a margin. If we'd have known this was going to happen, we never should have started diversifying. The calculations were that we could escape the capital crisis if we were to endure for 3 years. To be stabbed at this juncture is just incredibly unfortunate. I guess we tripped and fell at the step of the hop, step, jump. I could cry. We had no choice but to draw the money from the main bank. Banks are no good. It's real quick, just real quick. Nope. There, yeah, that's not. I don't know why you're doing that, mouse. Thank you. Okay. Real quick. There we go. They only bet their money on winning horses. The situation is getting better, but we can't show weakness to the banks. President, do you have any funds which are unaccounted for? Funds that we aren't aware of? Stop that. Do I look like that kind of man? The contents of my wallet are all exposed to you guys, all right? The account books over there show all that our company has. In that case, we need to raise money. We need a sponsor who can draw in several $1 million for us as soon as possible. President, couldn't something be worked out with one of your associates? President! Calm down, you bastards. I'll find a way to raise the money. You guys just maintain the business and try not to fall to pieces. They're saying they'll forgive us so long as we hand over the money. We already have thick pipelines in Asia. This will probably have consequences all over the place, but we can still maintain our deals. The point is, this is a problem that can be entirely resolved just by handing over money. Just watch. I'll settle everything. I won't let you out in the cold. Start feeling like you're in good hands. He's a very confident leader. I'll give him that. When this is all over, I'll be rewarding all of you guys with a champagne tower. I promise. So just shut up and follow me. All right? The airplane suddenly shook, probably because of turbulence. That shaking roused Rudolph from his sleep. He had woken up early that morning and had ended up drifting off to sleep while resting in his seat, and dreamed his morning back at himself. Are you all right? You're still very drowsy, aren't you? You've been so busy with work lately. It's a damn good thing I am busy with work. If I suddenly find myself with nothing to do, we'll all be out in the cold starting the next day. You're right. Battler-kun's come back now, so I'm afraid we can't just go around begging if things get rough. Yeah. We finally got our whole family back after 6 years. The man of the house is going to have to give his best so we can all spend some family time together. When he looked outside the window, he saw that the airplane was already starting to drop in altitude considerably. The fishing boats, which had only looked like black grains until a short while ago, had become clearly visible. If I could prostrate myself before Dad and borrow 10 mil in exchange for a punch to the head, I'd take at least a dozen, but failing that, he'd better hurry and give up the ghost. I've mooched off him so much over the years, and now I'm going for the inheritance. I'm going to hell. It won't surprise me a bit if he doesn't want to see me. Could it be that you don't plan on appearing at the family conference this year either? Oh wait, this is a different scene. All right. I don't know how I accidentally removed myself from stage just there. His idea is, you say it isn't that long till the end of the chapter? How could that possibly be? I was told there was like 150,000 words in this chapter. And the first one was 20 hours long. We're only a mere 6 or 7 hours into this one. We cannot possibly be near the end of the... Not episode chapter. Are there chapters in the episodes? I didn't realize that, I guess. Is that just when it has like the glass shatters the end of the chapter? Well, alright, I'll go till the glass shatters, I guess. Nanjo looked at Kinzo's face, sighing. Kinzo's eyes remained rooted to those strange magic books.
I have no intention of joining those vultures in a discussion. They can discuss how they will suck my bones as they wish. They are not worth a moment of my time. Aye. How troublesome.
Nanjo shook his head slightly. To him, children and grandchildren were to be adored, and he believed that their growth was the only enjoyment for old men. He found Kinzo's words to be a very sad thing.
If the time comes when I must leave this room, I will show myself then. Just as that one does not show itself.
Kinzo raised his face, and in the direction of his gaze was the portrait of the witch respectfully displayed on the wall. Inside Kinzo's head, there was no conception of today being the day of the family conference, the day when all his dear family would gather together. There was only the face of the witch in the oil painting, who never smiled outside her portrait. Everybody knew that when Kinzo talked about Beatrice, unnecessarily cutting in would instigate his wrath.
Today I will perform a certain ritual. And what would that be? It would be more accurate to call it a gamble.
Anything you do not a gamble?
After all, no miracle dwells in magic without risk.
Nanjo had already heard this countless times. You could call it Kinzo's favorite phrase. It seemed that Kinzo believed in magic and miracles arising through betting his own fate with a certain kind of risky probability at beating the odds.
Kinzo-san, you may once have been called the Golden Gambler, but I cannot imagine what kind of gamble you will take on with that aged body when you could go to the other world at any time. I guess this will be worth seeing.
I see. So, if it were up to you, unversed in magic, even this secret ritual I have thoroughly researched would be branded as a gamble. So be it. If it is I, a believer in miracles, who wins, you will be able to understand clearly that all my research, which probably only appears as vagary in your eyes, did bear fruit on this day. If you win, it will be all end as, just as you observed, nothing more than the vagary of an old man who could go on to the other world at any time.
I wonder what on earth is this gamble you will start. As your friend, I only pray that you come out from that bet. No, was it a ritual? I only pray from the bottom of my heart that you could come out from that ritual victorious.
I thank you. Speaking of that, Kinzo-san, I hear that a long-awaited guest will be present at the family conference this year. What?
Kinzo reacted in an unusual way to Nanjo's words and turned around.
You know, Battler-kun from Rudolph-san's family. I hear he'll be coming for the first time in 6 years. I'm sure he has become a splendid boy. Oh, Battler. Fuck that guy. I wouldn't describe a guest who has been away a scant 6 years as long awaited.
Upon hearing Battler's name, he showed an ill-humored expression as though he had been let down and turned his back to Nanjo again.
I guess these 6 years went by in a blink of an eye to you, sunk in your research in this room. Perhaps a truly long-awaited guest will pay us a visit. Everything depends on the results of the roulette. The roulette is already starting to revolve. Rouge or noir? Tonight, let us enjoy ourselves as we see what kind of miracle the roulette will show us. The payoffs are large, and I don't feel like losing. Beatrice, you shall accept my bet.
Just then, the telephone on the table rang. That piercing noise seemed to displease Kinzo, and he picked up the receiver in order to preserve the silence as much as he could.
What is it? I'm busy.
It is Genji. The family has arrived.
And what does that have to do with me? You could serve them some tea or something.
Certainly. I will see to it.
Oh, there will be tea served. Kinzo hung up the phone rudely. Watching him, Nanjo sighed yet again and shifted his attention outside the window. As he was now, Kinzo would probably show no interest in any kind of guest. Was there any guest who could make Kinzo agree to come out when he should? He had one person in mind, but that guest was one who could not possibly appear. After a glance at the witch of the portrait and her candid expression, which he could not place as happy or sad, Nanjo gazed up at the leaden sky. Oh shit, butterflies. Come, my lady, come, my lady, be my butterfly, sugar, baby. Oh shit, what the fuck? We're back at the tea party? Now then, are the pieces all lined up? Let us start a new game with the pieces all lined up once more. Are there any problems? Nope. The witch looked at him in challenge while elegantly smoking her pipe. And Battler? He just slovenly shrugged his shoulders as though she wasn't worth his time. He wouldn't look her in the eyes, but that didn't mean he wasn't going to play. It signified his plain determination to never be taken in by the artifices of this being he faced. It was an expression of his powerful determination to fight instead of being turned on by how cute she is the whole time. Don't tell me you don't have a plan. I don't know how you're going to play, so no, I don't have any plan. Feel free to take the first move. Naturally, I intend to. In what way shall I destroy your defense? In how many moves will I checkmate you? That is how I will display my skills. Whatever moves you come at me with, I will never believe in you. As long as I stand my ground on that one point, I won't lose. And what that means is this. The way this game is made, you cannot win. Maybe you're right. However, I shall decide how many times we will repeat this game. It will be repeated over and over again until I win and you admit defeat. In other words, this is torment. Eternal torment that will continue until you surrender to me. Continuing eternally until you acknowledge me and the existence of witches. In that case, I'll go along with you endlessly, any number of times, until you run out of patience. Marriage. I believe that counts as a marriage proposal on both of their parts. I've never lost in such a battle of wills. Did some witch or other suggest that to you? That's just fine. I'm tired of listening to your rambling. Come on, get this started. When you really think about it, this show is kind of just like Kaguya-sama Love is War, but if they were both like actively like if they both were like, yeah, I am in love with you, and you know what? Fucking doesn't matter. We're still gonna fight. Come, let us begin. I already know your moves far too well. The defense doesn't amount to much if the plan behind it is known. Don't think you'll be able to defy me with the same moves. Beatrice, I have only one thing to tell you before we start. You're free to say anything, but when it comes to whether I believe or not, that is always for me to decide. No matter how great your magic is, my soul won't yield to you. You think this will be torture for me? You're wrong. Then what would you like to call it? This is torture for you. It's sex for me. Yeah, well, this is sex for me. Someday you will yield to me and give up. Until then, you'll be tortured over and over again. How amusing. A fine metaphor. Torture where we torment each other. How truly amusing. Come, shall we begin that torture? Ushinomiya Battler! It's an interesting moment to go back to that. Sort of like it feels like everything up to that point was, all right, well, we're not really starting over the roulette yet, but you hear some other stuff you need to know before we do start over the roulette again or something like that. Okay, we're definitely ending there. I don't know if that was the end of the chapter, but I think it was. We're on chapter 5 now. Nice. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay, everybody. That's going to be all the Umineko for tonight. Please send me money so I feel good about doing these live streams. I think I made like $10 so far tonight. I'd like to make more than that. So please, whoever can afford to bankroll the Umineko streams, you know how to get me money. Next time the game starts for real, yeah, it's gonna be crazy. I mean, this has definitely been the most relaxed. Like, even the first chapter, even though it starts off very slice of life, I feel like the battler doesn't have, like, in the beginning, his relationships are all kind of strained. So you've got this kind of like warming empathy feeling. Whereas this chapter starts off with like all this cutesy romance shit, that feels like way more like laid back and kind of slight. But at the same time, you've got the witch's threat popping up right from the beginning. So there's like this unease given to it there. It's really interesting how different it feels from chapter 1. Like, just pacing wise, what characters it chooses to focus on, what the atmosphere is. Like, it's just a very different chapter that wouldn't have worked if not for how the first chapter was like such a tight, complete, like perfect package. And then 2 kind of lets you kind of go around the chapter 1, and like fill in the blanks, just like color in little bits that were missing before. That will be more meaningful going forward, I assume. But yeah, it's interesting. All right. I'll talk about the JPEG Mafia concert somewhere else. Doesn't really make sense to do that at the end of the stream. Okay, everybody. Good night. See you next